Hey, how's everybody doing? I hope you guys are doing fantastically well. I guess I need to turn that down. Check, check. Not exactly sure why I'm coming over the actual other speakers. Shouldn't be coming over the other speakers. Oh, I might know why. I might know why. Give me just a second. How's everybody doing? I think I'm going to have to remove myself from the stream. Check, check. How's everybody feeling? Trying to make sure that every guy don't come out over the internet and whatnot. Somehow I'm coming out over these speakers, and I don't need to be coming out over the speakers. Check, check. Check, check. Check, check. I have no idea why I'm coming through those speakers. Check, check, check. Test, test, test. Check, check. Okay, that's why. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing good, doing good. Yeah, we got a little bit of information and whatnot. Hey, sorry about last week. We had a little bit of a snafu of sorts. I'd played that little clip of what was it? Hiatus Coyote last week, and then what ended up happening is that it just disconnected all of you guys. Some of you guys hung out, and we actually got a chance to kind of chat a little bit. Some people who had my personal cell phone number were just sending me individual messages. It was kind of silly. It was ridiculous. Yeah, Andre, I know it's this weird thing. I'm cutting it all off. It's all good. Tanya, hello. Susie, hello. Elisa, hello. Sandra, hello. Shirley, hello. Donna, hello. I'm good. How are you? Sandra says, did you get Laura's contact for Robert? No, we did not. I did not see anything come through. So I'm not exactly sure where it went to. I don't, Sandra. So if you could resend, maybe send it to funkatopia@gmail.com. Try to send it there because I don't know what's going on. Deidre, what's going on? Barry, what is going on? Todd, I can feel with my hands. I don't know what that means. I'm sure it's a fine thing. I like feeling with my hands. It's really good. Cami, hello. Cami said, try to get hubby to buy me this for our retirement. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Man, what this was this. So anyways, I learned my lesson anyways that I learned my lesson about, I'm going to go ahead and copy this URL here. I learned my lesson about playing. I thought for myself, maybe if I just play just a little taste, and again, as long as I talk over it, it should be fine, right? There shouldn't be any issues with that. But apparently there was an issue with that, so I was not able to do that. Jill, how you doing from Connecticut? Andre, yeah, I know you could hear me. Basically, what I was trying to do, I don't know. We don't know if Rob is going to be able to make it tonight. So what I did is that I was actually broadcasting from the actual radio station as a separate thing. So if I have to show screens, I can just pop up a screen. But apparently I can't do that because it's picking up audio from somewhere and I don't know where. I think it might be, I don't know where it's picking up audio from, but it's picking up audio from somewhere. And that's the reason why I was talking over, and it was also going over the radio show. So there's that. It's going to be a lot of fun tonight. It definitely is. Elena, hello. Oh, how are you? Eve, hello. Terry, hello. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Elena, how are you? Deidre, hello. I may be saying hello multiple times here. A funny roll is on here, man. Now you can hear me loud and clear. That's good. Andre says, "Where's the disco ball?" I actually took the disco ball down tonight, but that's not the change. That's not the change. I actually took the disco ball down tonight because of the fact that we wanted to make sure that we had some other things going. So there's that. Anna says she's on the treadmill watching. Good for you. Alfonso, what's going on, man? Alfonso's got an event that's going to be coming up towards the end of the month here. Make sure that you put up a link, Alfonso, to what you got going on because it's a really, really cool event, and Alfonso will tell you all about it. Elena says Paisley Park is looking for a retail associate, $15 an hour. Must be a pescatarian. Okay. There you go. Oh, it's for the Mall of America. Oof. Well, isn't $15 an hour about to be the minimum wage now? It's kind of coming in. Oh my God. It's just, yeah, I saw that Morris, yeah, I saw Morris's house was up for sale. So yeah, it's kind of been, and now it is what it is. We'll talk a little bit about that. That is actually on the list. That is absolutely on the list. Everybody's, yeah, we saw the 3.2 million. Yeah, we're going to be talking about that some. Cammie saying hello to Jeremiah Freed. Apparently, Dr. Funkenberry's in the house. Hey, so yeah, let me go ahead and tell you that too, because Dr. Funkenberry's in the house. Everybody say hello to Dr. Funkenberry, good friend of mine. Many of you may have seen that he has got a special event that is going to be happening tonight. He is actually doing an interview, but we wanted to make sure that we were really, really clear that he is not moving his show to Tuesday night. So for those folks that are really, really worried that you're going to have to pick or choose, you don't have to pick or choose. Okay. Let's just go ahead and talk about that. We don't have to choose. I'm trying to pull it up. I'm trying to get the information on the, on your podcast. Yeah, there it is. Tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so an hour after we actually technically start, Dr. Funkenberry is going online with Stephen Grant Hill. He's going to be talking about some of the Prince house parties and just a bunch of Prince stories and experience. And Stephen was the president of programming for BET. And so he has a lot of different Prince stories and whatnot. And he was able to get an interview with Stephen. And it just so happens that tonight was the only night that he was available. So he's going to be doing an interview with him tonight. Obviously, if you miss it, you can definitely watch the replay. Doc's really good about getting up the replay, so it's all good. It is what it is, but it is going to be happening on Tuesday night, tonight at 9:00, but we're here for an hour. For those of you just tuning in, it's a pre-show. That's where we're in right now. We're in the middle of a pre-show, and we are just hanging out, and the show starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is about 18 minutes from right now. So if you're watching this from the very, very beginning, just fast forward 30 minutes and you can get to this stuff. But this is kind of where we just hang out and chat, ask questions, say hello. So it's going to be really, really cool. Tonight, we're going to be doing something really, really cool. I'll be talking about it at the 8 p.m. So just to kind of avoid being redundant, what I want to do is I want to make sure that you guys understand what we're doing tonight. This is for OGs only. We're going to be playing Crystal Ball in its entirety, the 1986 configuration. So the 1986 configuration basically is the way that Prince had originally structured the album in 1986 when he was originally going to release it. And it was a triple album, and he handed it to Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers was like, this is way too much. It's just too much. And they made him cut a bunch of stuff from it. And it ultimately ended up becoming Sign of the Times. But the way that it was configured, the way that the songs were kind of structured, some of the songs kind of stayed together in place, but there was a bunch of other things that were in the mix as well. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you are a huge fan of Sign of the Times and you're really interested to hear how Crystal Ball was originally structured, this is definitely the place that you're going to want to be. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be awesome. And it's going to be good. So I hope that you absolutely positively will We'll hang out and enjoy yourself. We'll also be talking about some funk news tonight. Yes, we'll be talking about Morris Day's house going up for sale. We're going to be talking about some other things as well. And as I mentioned, for those of you who are just joining us, Dr. Funkenberry is here with us hanging out. You know, Doc's a really good friend. Doc, if you got like 5 minutes, I can send you the StreamYard link and you can come in and tell everybody about what's going on tonight. But anyways, that's going on at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So we'll actually be on for an hour before that show even starts. But on the same note, again, don't freak out. His show is not staying on Tuesday nights. So don't feel like it's going to be a conflict, because it's not. And he made sure that he reached out to me. He made sure that he reached out to me and let me know. I just want to let you know, not staying on Tuesday nights. This is the only time I could get him in. It's going to be fun, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of good stuff. It's going to be good. So anyways, tonight, that's what we'll be doing. Now, there's going to be 2 tracks for this. And again, I hate the fact that I'm telling you this and I'm going to have to tell you it again. 8 o'clock, but let me kind of give you an idea of the 2 different tracks that we're going to be doing. The first track is going to be basically right here, right where you're at right here, which is the where I'm going to be playing music like this, kind of a little bit in the background. You're going to hear a little bit in the background. There's no real anything, technical going on. You'll be able to lightly hear the music in the background, and I'm going to be doing an album chat. I'm going to be talking over everything. So I'm going to be giving you a little bit of background of the songs as the songs are playing. And that's going to be this. And the reason why we have to do this, if you were with us last week, you have a pretty good idea why we have to do that. We have to do that because of the fact that YouTube, once it starts recognizing music and gets crazy about it, they just cut us off. They just drop you guys off like a bad habit. Basically, they just drop you off like a bad habit. So that's fine. And I don't want you guys to get dropped off, and I want you guys to be able to chat and listen and have a good time. The other track is going to be on Funked Up. So Funked Up, if you start your Funked Up app at 8 p.m., again, we're only 12 minutes away here. At 12 p.m. In 12 minutes, we'll be starting the show. And if you want to listen to the album without hearing me yap, make sure you start the Funked Up app, because the Funked Up app will be playing Crystal Ball in its entirety without any commercial interruptions, and there won't be any album chat or anything, because the ASCAP licensing fees apply to the radio station. So I don't have to answer to anybody there because it's ASCAP licensed. Here, even though I am ASCAP licensed, YouTube and Facebook do not have anything in place to avoid kicking people off if they hear music. That's just how they are. So not really too much I can do on that. But I wanted to kind of let you guys know what was going to be going on. The 2 tracks are going to be going on. But again, at 8 o'clock, which is now 13 minutes from right now, we will be going into the show, talking a little bit about news and just having a great time. And as mentioned, for those who saw that Dr. Funkenberry has a show on Tuesday night tonight, it's not staying there. Don't freak out. You're fine. You're not going to have to choose one or the other. Doc and I are friends. We're good. It's all good. So just know he's got a show that's going to be starting at 9 o'clock. And it's going to be a lot of fun. He's got Stephen Grant Hill that's going to be on the show tonight with him. That's going to be talking about a bit different Prince stories and whatnot. So whichever one you decide to hang with tonight, absolutely, positively, just choose, because both of us will have our shows available for watching tomorrow. So if you want to watch Doc's show tonight, perfectly fine. You can watch this show tomorrow. If you want to watch this show, watch Doc's show tomorrow. It's perfectly cool. But you're not going to have to make that decision on Tuesday nights ever again. Yes, so much. Jeremy says, how much does an ASCAP license cost? There's a bunch of different things that go into ASCAP licensing. It is not cheap. I will tell you that. It's based on a variety of different things. It's based on listenership, the amount of listeners that could be listening to it at any one given time when you're broadcasting it out. Then when it also gets to a certain point, if it gets to a certain point, then they start analyzing things and they start itemizing the songs that you've played, and then it gets really crazy expensive. So the best thing I can tell you is to please absolutely support the radio station, support Funkatopia by going to patreon.com/Funkatopia. Again, that's patreon.com/Funkatopia, and go there, because that is where we will have helping us be able to pay these ASCAP licensing fees, pay for StreamYard, do all this, prep and just get you all the stuff. And we also do, we do a lot of different things for Patreons. You guys get all kinds of crazy files, and once a year I actually send you gifts and all kinds of stuff. So being a Patreon supporter of Funkatopia is totally different from most of the other places. Most of the other places just simply take, and I want to be able to make sure that you're getting a whole bunch in return. So it's the least I can do. I love doing that kind of stuff. So anyways, I hope everybody's doing good. Man, lots of craziness. What we got going on here? Lynette, hello. How are you? Welcome. Andre, welcome. Cami, I did make you, Audrey says that she's off like a prom dress. Nice. Cami, the book that you won last week for noticing the difference in the background and being the first to notice it, that was shipped. I didn't ship it on the day I promised. I didn't ship it on Wednesday. I ended up shipping on Thursday. So you may already have it. I don't know how quickly things run. But if not, you should be getting it in the next day or so, I'd imagine. But it was actually sent. Anna, thank you for noticing the hat. This is a very, very cool hat. I don't typically like to go on and buy a bunch of different things that aren't necessarily licensed by the estate. But every now and then, I will see something and I'll be like, that is awesome. And one thing I liked about this is that it had the old school Prince logo on it, and then it wasn't centered. It was actually off to the side, which I thought was an extra cool. It was just things that are just a little bit different, a little bit off. I just have to do it, and I just have to support. So you guys know we're all in a bubble anyways, right? So that's all there is to it. What are we going to do? Oh, Atlanta, it is raining. I don't know what the weather is where you guys are at, but where I am, it is pouring down rain in Atlanta. It's going to be continuing raining today, and then all day tomorrow it's supposed to be raining. And then tomorrow night, it's supposed to be doing some serious thunderstorms. So I'm so glad I don't have to broadcast, because I always freak out whenever there's lightning storms and everything else. Apologies also for the other for all the technical issues we were having earlier today on the Funked Up app. It got dropped a couple of times, and it was just too much. I was very, very upset at how often it got dropped. I was very not happy about that. But you can't see the man, you really can't see the thing at all. I gotta get this and I gotta be also, again, I gotta be really, really careful. I gotta be really, really careful about not talking over the music. Whenever there's music playing, I got to talk over it, because it will just totally crash and burn. But anyways, tonight I'm looking so forward to it, not just because of the fact that we're going to be listening to Crystal Ball in the way that Prince had originally intended for you to hear it, but on top of that, to kind of get a little bit back and forth. I'm going to be giving you some basic details about the song as the songs are playing. But on the same note, I think it's really, really cool to actually kind of get a little bit of feedback, what you thought, what was going on in your life, maybe when these songs originally came out. A lot of Crystal Ball, as it was originally intended, was from Sign of the Times. There's like maybe, but it was just the way that the songs were structured. It was just a little bit different. And on top of that, there's a couple of surprises in there, songs from the Black Album and, B-sides and a bunch of different things that just kind of were thrown into the mix. And it was actually kind of cool. I will say, when we did this last, hey, Tracy, what you doing? Nice to see you again. Lynette, hello. And Jamie says, what do you miss? Quite a bit. Jaden says she wants to be in Florida right now. Yeah, I don't blame you. I can't say I blame you. But anyways, I will say, when we did this, I want to say it was about a month ago, we did this for Dream Factory. We did Dream Factory. And Dream Factory, I want to tell you, when I laid out the configuration, the way that the songs were intended, the way that he had meant Dream Factory to happen, and I was it was really great. It was really, really great. It was just great. Nakia, what's going on? Manny, what's popping? It was just, I love the way that Dream Factory was laid out. And let me tell you, if that album had hit and it was released the way that it was intended to be as The Revolution, as that would have been The Revolution's last album, but he pulled the plug at the last minute. And I am just, it's very, very cool. I actually got this hat on eBay, Sylvia, and I'll try to locate the actual link and put it up here for you at some point in time for sure. How much time we got? We got 5 minutes. We got like 5 or 6 minutes before the show actually starts. And then we're going to kind of get into it. We're going to get into the news. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. And Jamie says, is the show staying on Tuesdays or going to a new day? No, our shows are staying on Tuesday. Our shows are staying on Tuesday night. Funkenberry only temporarily moved his show to Tuesday night tonight because that was the only time that he was able to get his guest into the studio was on the Tuesday nights. And Dr. Funkenberry does not like to pre-record because he likes to be able to have the audience participation along with it. So that's the reason why his show is happening tonight, but it happens at 9:00. So you can stay put for at least an hour, and enjoy the show for at least an hour before you jump over to Funkenberry, or just stay put and watch it tomorrow. Or you can jump and then come back and watch this tomorrow. Either way, however you want to go. Or you can maybe just test the waters for an hour and see if you want to stay or not. But there's a lot of different things going on tonight. Obviously, you're going to have to be looking at me and me only, which is fine. I may have a couple of, little screens and stuff, at least for the news. But anyways, we're going to be having a good time. It's great. I'm glad that you guys all have some amazing weather. Todd says it's sunny here in South Texas. That is awesome. Who else was saying? Stacey says it's pouring in Atlanta. Yep. Great night for a Prince cast. Yep. Absolutely. Nakia's in the house. Already said hello there. I really want to get this, put up this link. This lady's going to freak out. She's going to be, why are all these people ordering this hat? So anyways, I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be a lot of fun. I will tell you that I did not have, it was not my intention to do an album chat tonight. Essentially what I was going to do was do a little bit of a pre-show, and then I was going to cut you guys loose and just play the songs. But I decided that I would do something a little bit different. I decided that it would be kind of cool if we're sitting here talking, that I'll just do a little bit of an album chat over the album as it's playing. But if there's people that do want to just listen to the album without me talking, just tune in on the Funked Up app and you can do that. It's perfectly fine. Let's see here. Let me see if I can pull this up. Was it on? Oh, maybe it wasn't on. I'm trying to think if it was on. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't on eBay. I'll try to figure out where I got this hat from. It was like, maybe it was Amazon. I don't know. I don't remember. I'll figure it out and I'll make sure that you guys get the right place to kind of do it. This is the last song. Too Young to Dare is actually the last song in the mix, and then we're going to go live. So I hope you guys are ready. It's going to be a lot of fun. Kemi says, I can't believe I missed the Dream Factory show. Yes, the Dream Factory show was fantastic. It was so good. When I laid those songs out, it didn't look like anything special, but when you're listening to it and the flow of that album, the way that it was put together with all the pieces that Wendy and Lisa had done and all the colors and all those things and visions and all the stuff that was kind of interwoven into that album, it was fantastic. It was just such a well structured album. And then for whatever that reason was, when he broke up the Revolution, that album just came apart into a bunch of different pieces. And so it just ended up, some of it went here to Sign of the Times, some of it went to Crystal Ball, some of it just went everywhere. So it's pretty awesome. So Andre says, on the air, time to get nude for 2 shows tonight on the air. Okay. Andre loves to get naked and sit in the dark. So I don't know. Todd says, would Dream Factory have won the Grammy over U2? Yeah. The whole fact that Side of the Times lost that year to, I believe it was it Lionel Richie? I want to say it was Lionel Richie that year. Did not make any sense whatsoever. That just makes no sense literally made no sense at all. And I don't know why it, check. I don't know why that was crazy. Anyways, the Grammys are, originally this show, we were going to talk about the Grammys tonight. We were going to be talking a little about some highlights on the Grammys, but after watching them, I decided against it. Congratulations to all, some of the fine folks that did win. There's just, I just can't, I do. Let me see if there's anybody that I felt like really kind of deserved it. Let me see here. I mean, obviously, I was glad that her won. Her is fantastic. We all love her. So it was really great that she was able to. It was all great that she was able to win. Billie Eilish, obviously, Billie Eilish. Come on, you guys know how I feel about Billie Eilish and the production quality that her and her brother Phineas do. I'm all about Billie. Yeah, Billie Eilish was just fantastic. Oh, U2's Joshua Tree beat out Sign of the Times. Wasn't there a year? What album was it that Lionel Richie beat? Oh, it was Purple Rain. Lionel Richie's album for album of the year beat out Prince's Purple Rain, which obviously in hindsight is like, huh? Now what now? And of course you have, I Can't Breathe from her, that won Song of the Year, which was really cool. Megan Thee Stallion. Yeah, okay. Hold on a second. We're about to start. We'll talk a little bit about that, I guess, but I really didn't want to, it just kind of, all right, here we go. All right. Everybody ready? Guess I might take a sip of water, right? Hello, everybody. How you doing? Everybody feeling good? You all feeling good? Everybody good? Everybody feeling good? Oh, look at that. Yeah. Come on. Give me that reverb. Yeah. Reverb. What? Okay. Sorry. I love the reverb. Anyways, how you doing? I accidentally hit the space bar, which stops the song. So it was like really abrupt. So welcome one and all to the Funkatopia radio show. Rob said that he was deciding whether or not he was going to come, but apparently he's decided to actually come. And he's got new equipment, so I have no idea how this is going to go. This could be like a total crash and burn. Rob, you
there? Hey,
you're there. Good. Okay, so okay, that's good.
I have a mic set up and everything.
Yeah. So what's the new equipment that you just got?
Well, it's the same mic I had. I had an Aki mic that I've had for a while, but something's weird about my sound card on this laptop. So I got an external sound card, hooked it up, messed around with it, and I've been using it for work and now for this, and so far so good. I haven't had any issues with it.
Oh man, awesome. Well,
I mean, it sounds right. It sounds good, right?
Yeah, it sounds perfectly fine. Sounds good over here.
Yeah, I was listening to one of our shows and I didn't like the sound, so hopefully this is better.
Well, you still got the squeaky chair, but I do too. So we're,
yeah, the squeaky chair. Yeah. Probably oil that. It was kind of annoying.
Welcome one and all. It's Mr. Christopher with the Funkatopia radio show with my co-host Rob Rhythm, who because of the time change, you're like going from like work right to the show.
Yeah.
And even though we do this at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Atlanta, this is actually 5 in California, and
Arizona.
6? It's 5 there too, Arizona.
Yeah, because we don't do that whole crazy joing back and going forth and jumping and flying and springing and falling.
So now I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, I did hear that they were going to stop doing this, that they were going to stop doing the time change thing, it was like on the table for like the whole country to stop doing it.
Yeah.
Which I think is interesting. I don't necessarily know which one I would prefer. I think that I would prefer the other one that we just left, so that it stays lighter for more part of the day. I don't know. It just seems like at 6 o'clock when it gets pitch black here, it's like, I don't like that. I'm not a fan at all. So I can only imagine what it is in California and stuff. That's the reason why they're on such weird. I went down when I went to Los Angeles for a conference, and everybody was like up and running around at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just like, and obviously it's still a thing because it's the nightlife too. But on the same note, you're just kind of like,
boogie. Love the nightlife.
Yes, it is. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They did. Can't get out of your head now, can you?
Sorry, now I got the song going through my head. I didn't remember what the lyrics were. I was just making noise. So tonight we're going to be talking about some funk news and whatnot. We're going to be doing a lot of cool. We got some cool stuff to talk about, but obviously the main show tonight is going to be Crystal Ball. We're going to be playing. This is for OGs only. We're doing the original configuration, the way the Prince intended Crystal Ball to be in 1986, the configuration that he had in November of 1986, that he submitted to Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers said no, and made him pull 7 songs off of the album in order to get it down to 2 CDs. Which we now know and love as Sign of the Times. Not that
they were like, we're tired. Aren't you tired? And Prince is like, hell no.
Yeah. And as you probably know from Dwayne Tudor's book that's going to be coming out here soon, is that Prince recorded a bunch of albums during this period of time. Now, some of which, ended up getting toasted and then repurposed, so we went from Dream Factory to Camille to Crystal Ball to The Flesh it was just like one thing after the Sign of the Time to the Black Album it was just one thing after another. He had so many albums just in this 2-year period of time. So he was pretty much driving Warner Brothers crazy out of the gate. So there's really not too much that you can do there. Other than if you're Warner Brothers, then just say, okay, just calm down, slow down, just chill for a minute. And, but anyways, we're going to have 2 different tracks for Crystal Ball tonight. And I will tell you what those 2 tracks are. If you are listening on the Funked Up app, or if you're listening live on Funkatopia.com, you can stay there, and essentially what you're going to do is you're going to hear the news we're about to do here in just a minute, and then you're going to hear a little bit of an introduction from me, which I will be doing live here, and then I'm going to start the album, and I'm going to be playing Crystal Ball, the 1986 configuration, in its entirety without any commercial interruption, and you won't hear me talking or anything. So that is the 1 track. So if you prefer to hear this configuration without me talking over it, then absolutely positively start up the Funked Up app, or go to Funkatopia.com and you can listen live there.
All right.
But if you are an information nut, like you want to be that encyclopedia, you want to know the little details behind each song. You're like, yeah, I've heard these songs a million times. Give me some information about these songs. Then you want to stay on Facebook, facebook.com/Funkatopia, or YouTube. You can go to youtube.com/user/Funkatopia. Or it's Funkatopians. I think sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It's supposed to be Funkatopia, but whatever. Because there, where you are right now, if you're visually looking at myself and Rob right now, we have to talk over the music as we learned last week. As we learned last week, when I was so excited that Rob had never heard of Hiatus Coyote, I didn't know what to do with myself.
Oh.
And I played him Breathing Underwater, which is, that's an older album now. It's like 3 years old now, but it's such.
Sony said no.
And let me tell you, Hiatus Coyote is amazing. They're such a great band. Yeah. But the problem is that we played a little bit of a clip, and then it kicked everybody off. It kicked everybody off And Rob and I sat here and talked, and we were being very, very open and loosey goosey. And then I got a text on my phone from some listeners who actually have my phone, and they actually texted me and said, "We can hear you. We're watching you, but we can't chat. We can't say anything." So we immediately had to think back to what everything we had just said. I did anyways. Did I say anything offensive or something? I don't know what I did. Okay, it doesn't really matter. So I will be doing an album chat over the music. So I will be playing Crystal Ball in its entirety, but as it's playing, I will be giving you a bunch of details. I'll be talking over the music so that nobody gets cut off, but you'll be able to get a lot of details about each one of the songs. And I did shave it down as best as I possibly could. So it's not like an album chat where I get really hardcore and I'm not really worried about the time because the song's not playing in the background, because I want to give you a little bit of an opportunity to be able to hear some stuff, and also to chat and ask questions about the song. And you're probably going to ask questions that I don't know, but that's okay. I'm looking forward to it. It's actually really cool. I mean, the original configuration of Crystal Ball is primarily a lot of Sign of the Times. There are some songs that did get kicked off of Sign of the Times and replaced. There's like a bunch of weird things in there too, like Joy and Repetitions on this configuration, and Good Love is on this configuration, and also Rock Hard No Funky Place is on. So there's like some songs that are in this mix that seem really strange. And there's also a little bit different versions of, for instance, If I Was Your Girlfriend, that Wedding March intro, that da, 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 there's a version of that song that does not have that in the front. I did not have that. I had to create it because I was trying to stay as faithful as possible to the configuration that he had. So if it was
Did you get the original version? Did you get the original version of Rebirth of the Flesh?
Yes, this is the original version of Rebirth of the Flesh. It's not
okay.
So this is the one that's 4 minutes and 50, because I looked at the timing of the songs. One of the things I found interesting was that they had, what was the song on here? Shockadelica. Shockadelica is in this mix for the original version of Crystal Ball. And what's interesting is that the version that's on that configuration is the 12-inch version. So it's not the shortened version, it's the 12-inch version. So again, I looked and did my best to marry everything up. The only thing I failed on, and I shouldn't even point it out, is Starfish and Coffee. Starfish and Coffee does not have that alarm at the beginning of it, that alarm clock at the beginning. That's not in the original configuration, but I didn't have time to edit it out. So when you hear it, you can go, "Oh my God, I'm out." Click. You can tune out at that point. It's fine. But anyways, I tried my best to stay as faithful to configuration as I possibly could, making sure that everything mixes. The only interruptions that there will be is if you had to walk over to the record player, if you bought this album on vinyl, this 3-album vinyl, if you had to walk over to the record player and pick up the album and flip it, there's going to be a little bumper there. It's the same exact bumper. It's just, and I only did it because if people come in to the mix, they're going to be able to know what it is that they're listening to, so they can kind of give a little bit of idea of what they're hearing. So I wanted to be fair to those people who just happen to stumble into the mix. That's it. That's really all there is. All right, let's talk. Let's do news so we can kind of get through this, because we're already 12 minutes in and I've accomplished nothing.
No, you accomplished something.
Well, I guess, yeah, accomplished
I don't know
being a little
what,
bit
but it was
informative and whatnot.
Yeah.
So let's start with, and I'm going to see if I can actually share this screen here. I don't know if I can or not. I'm going to try, because I was not anticipating that you were going to be here. So I
wasn't either.
So I decided that I was just going to do this by myself. That house right there for $3.1 million is the house that belongs to Morris Day. Morris Day is selling his mansion in Malibu. I was kind of going through some of these photos, and it's pretty amazing. It's 6 bedrooms, 5.5 baths, 6,000 square feet. And it says it's on a 1.93 acre lot, which means it's just over a couple acres, but it sure does look like it's a lot more than that. But if you look at some of these photos of some of the stuff, it was actually pretty cool to kind of look at some of, I saw this card. I was like, oh man, I wonder what, I wonder what's parked under there. I wonder what kind of car it is. But what's kind of cool is that, you get to see, how Morris Day was living, and the fact that I'm going to be honest. I'm a little bit surprised that he was living in a $3.2 million house. I'm just going to be honest. I thought for sure not that he would be living modestly, but I didn't think that it was a $3.2 million mansion. I wasn't thinking that, but there's a lot of pictures of, the driveway and all that. It's got 5-car garage, amazing views. Obviously, this is one of the things I found interesting too, was this, it's a picture of him and his wife and I guess his son here on the wall that they left in the picture, which I thought was kind of interesting. You normally kind of take a lot of personal things down when you're doing these types of shots, but he's left up family photos in the hall. But it's pretty cool that there is $3.2 million mansion that belongs to Morris Day, and it's beautiful. It's very, very bright, very open, lots of ornate staircases, and just a lot of eating area. I mean, good Lord, it's pretty amazing, and it's a beautiful home for sure. It's absolutely a beautiful home. And I was trying to fast forward so you guys could see the bedroom.
Oh, wait,
there.
That's not the brass water bed.
That's where the magic happens, brother. Right there. Would you want to see my Tootsie Roll? Maybe I'm sure you would. Anyways, so
does it come with this chef? Jerome was
Jerome Scratchy or something like that. I don't know. It's got a brass water bed. Oh Lord. Anyways, there you have it. That is his abode, and $3.2 million. You got some money burning a hole in your pocket. That's it right there. He says it ain't brass. Elena says it ain't brass. It's not brass. You're right. I don't know what that is, but it's not brass. Obviously, oh man, I didn't post this, photo, but oh well, it's all good. Happy belated birthday to Sly Stone. He turned 78 yesterday. 78 to the lead ringmaster of Sly and the Family Stone. He turned 78, and the last I had heard was like almost 10 years ago that he was living in a camper in a rough part of California, like kind of close to where Boys in the Hood was apparently filmed. It was close to that area. That's just what it referenced in the article. It said, this is where Boys in the Hood was. So it's a really, really downtrodden area, not safe, very high crime area, and he was living in a camper on the side of the road, and apparently there were some retired people that lived that allow him to park there, and they bring him food every now and then and allow him to shower, once every few days or whatever. I hope that we've progressed past this, and that he is doing well, because for somebody who brought so much amazing music and has changed so many people's lives, I can't imagine that. I mean, Prince was around when that news broke, so I imagine if he had any opportunity to be able to help me, absolutely, positively would have, for sure. But man, I don't know. Kind of a little bit, I don't know. It's a little bit depressing for sure. Yeah. Also, yesterday was also the 17th anniversary of Prince's induction into the Hall of Fame. And of course, we all remember this scene, sure, where Prince was killing it at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, when George Harrison and everybody that was on stage, Tom Petty and everybody else, was just like completely and totally just blown away, and he just absolutely killed it. And so it's I should maybe turn that down so we don't get everybody knocked off. Not that this is the recording and their, Grace Note's going to match note for note, but anyways, this particular scene was absolutely amazing, and I think it really kind of created a bunch of different, a bunch of fans too, for people who had never heard of Prince well, people have heard of Prince, but maybe we're just familiar with Purple Rain and When Doves Cry and Alphabet Street and things like that. And he really wasn't considered to be this, this guitar virtuoso that he actually is, and then we all knew that he was. And so it was just definitely an interesting turning point, because I think that people actually started really taking him seriously as a guitarist. And it was like, all you could do as a Prince fan was just kind of look and go, where have you been? Where have you been? This guy has been killing it for decades. And, so now he comes on. I love the look on George Harrison's son's face, who's playing the acoustic guitar behind Tom Petty, and how he's just like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. It's just like, talk to your pops. He'll tell you.
Yeah.
George Harrison was a big Prince fan. And so, Tom Petty felt the same exact way. I mean, you've got all these legends that are on this stage, and they were just like, oh my God. It's just,
that's what I remember about this. I remember there were like all these, great musicians, are going to come out and they're going to play this, tribute to George Harrison, and and they're playing one of his best songs. And it was kind of like going along, okay, they were doing that thing where they're like going from one vocalist to the next, letting them sing a chorus or whatever. And it was just kind of like, they were just kind of like getting through it. And I was like, this is all right. And then Prince came out, and bam, that was, that was it.
It's all over at that point.
Like, holy crap. I don't know what we were doing for the last 4 minutes, but now we got a real freaking performance.
Yeah, now it's like, and of course he looked amazing in that black jacket and that red shirt and that red hat. He looked incredible. And it was just, he just did it. He rocked their faces off. Nobody knew what hit him. I mean, and then of course, at the end when he throws his guitar up in the air and walks off, like, bye now. It's just ridiculous. It's just one of those.
I mean, it was a good band. I mean, the guy who plays drums is the same guy who plays drums for McCartney on his tours, and he's freaking amazing. And I think McCartney was on keyboards, right?
Yes.
Am I right about that?
So here's, and I want to talk about. So anyways, that happened yesterday. It was the 17th anniversary of Prince's induction to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which was pretty incredible. I mean, somebody had said to me, I think somebody said on this on Facebook, it says like, that was 17 years ago. I had to double check. I was like, now that you say that, I'm like second guessing myself, but I had to check. Yes, it was 17 years ago. Unfreaking real that this was 17 years ago. But it is what it is. For those of you who are about to be really, really bummed out, we're about to come up here in less than a month. We're about to come up on the 5-year anniversary of Prince's passing and the 5-year anniversary of his final show. We will be doing something special on Funkatopia for that day. So you'll definitely want to tune in on that day. We'll be playing all kinds of stuff, and you'll definitely want to tune in to Funkatopia on that day. But we'll be celebrating the 5-year anniversary of his final concert and, of course, his passing, which is pretty monumental. I mean, that's I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even want to process it. Here's something that's interesting. I started getting, I work from home, and every now and then I'll look over my computer and see if there's, new messages coming in, and people will request songs, during the day. And I'm like, okay, I'll request, people just request random songs. And sometimes they request bands that I've never heard of in my life. And I started getting like a lot of requests for this band called Endre Sherry, ENDRE, Endre Sherry, CHERI, Endre Sherry. I might even be pronouncing it wrong. I don't even know, because I've never heard anybody actually say it. And I had no idea who these guys were. And I kept getting these requests, but they kept on requesting them during the Prince blocks that we're doing. So I'm just like, I don't really know who that is. I don't really have any songs. I don't, I appreciate the request. We get out of the Prince block at 2. I'll play some songs. And so it just so happened I was eating lunch, and another request came in for Endre Sherry, and I'm like, who the heck is freaking Endre Sherry? And I went on to YouTube, and I'm like, I guess I need to check out this band Endre Sherry and figure out what they're all about. And Oh my friggin' God. These guys are, they're obviously an Asian group. The emails that were coming in were from Japan. So I'm assuming that they were from Japan, but holy cow, check out these guys. These guys are from Japan. And I'm like, what is going on? It's like Parliament, the Asian version. These guys are killing it. And it's just, obviously, I immediately reached out. And I immediately reached out and I said, okay, I have to figure out, this is actually a little video that's got like a little bunch of different clips from songs that they have and whatever. But most of their songs are like just like a complete full-blown horn sections. They actually have, good piano parts and good vocals, great guitar solos, and they're just killing it. So I immediately reached out and I said, okay, I have to figure out how to get in touch with these guys. I reached out to Ender Sherry and I said, I need to interview you guys. And of course, most of them don't speak English. So they're, I'm not really getting a whole bunch of information and whatnot. So it's kind of a bum. So it's kind of a bummer deal. Oh, it looks like we've got Ender Sherry has actually ended up kicking everybody off of the everybody ended up kicking everybody off of the show, including Rob. So because of the fact that I was playing that Ender Sherry video, I didn't think that would kick everybody off, and apparently it did. So that's ridiculous. So let's do this. I don't even know what to even do at this point other than stop the broadcast and come back in. But that's ridiculous. So what I would tell you, if you're still watching, why don't you come over to YouTube side, come over to YouTube and watch via YouTube. And apparently I didn't realize that Ender Sherry would be able to be picked up here with all that stuff. But apparently it is. Everybody got kicked off for Ender Sherry's video. So I should have known that something like that would happen, but hopefully everybody will be able to kind of come back on. I don't know if you will or not, but definitely come in via YouTube, youtube.com/user/Funkatopia, because apparently YouTube's okay with everything that's going on. I don't have any issues going on there. So we'll just take it from there and just allow you guys to do your thing. Meanwhile, that was all Ender Sherry. So hopefully we'll be able to get Ender Sherry on the show and we'll be able to actually have a good time finding some way to be able to interview them, because what's ending up happening is they I see everybody kind of slowly switching over to YouTube. I know you can still hear me on Facebook. So if you have to jump ship from Facebook and come over to YouTube, YouTube's still okay. You'll still be able to kind of to talk and whatnot. It's ridiculous. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that was going to happen. I thought for sure they're over in Japan. Certainly that's not going to affect anything, but apparently they are. So you got to check those guys out, Ender Sherry, and we will be watching them for sure. Absolutely, positively. And again, major apologies for you guys that got kicked off because I just got done playing Ender Sherry. I think I would learn my lesson by now, but apparently that's not the case. And I'll just never learn my lesson. Huge shout out. Matter of fact, huge shout out to somebody that we had on the show in September of 2020. We had the lovely, young, talented, I see everybody switching over to YouTube. Sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Facebook is a pain in the ass. I can't, there's nothing I can do. Facebook, the second that they hear a little bit of music, even though we're ASCAP licensed, they just drop everybody. And I am so sorry about that. It's just going to be insane. We're just going to have to just deal with it. So please join us over on YouTube and let's just continue on this way, I guess, and just move from there. Brian says, I like it better here. Yeah, it's actually, you won't have to, I could actually play music here on YouTube and not have any issues. Facebook is just like way, way overbearing. So anyways, welcome one and all. Keep on coming back over to YouTube. Again, sorry about that. Cami says, I've never used the chat here. But thank you so much for at least coming over and joining the fray. Again, huge shout out. We had a special young lady on the show September 2020, a lady by the name of Emmy Sunshine. I don't know if any of you remember her, but she was actually on the show. And I'm going to actually pull up that video just because I actually let me fast forward this over to the section here. But this is Emmy Sunshine, and she was just absolutely amazing. And she was killing it. She was unreal. She was so good. Just checking her out.
From Adam's bones, I got a mean streak 3 miles long.
And she's just got one of these got really over the top, really over the top. Sorry, that was the volume. I shouldn't have hit the volume. But I'm gone. She's so she was just so talented, and it was like I had to get her on the show because I needed to hear some more of what she was about. And what was interesting is that all of a sudden I find out that she's now went onto this season of American Idol, and so that is her. I wanted to go ahead and stop that for right now, but she's on American Idol, and she was given the golden ticket. Now, I don't know if you guys know what the golden ticket is, but the golden ticket is when you're so good that you don't have to go through any more of the processes. You're automatically considered a finalist in the top, whatever it is. And so she was on American Idol, and she actually got kicked up to, she got a golden ticket. And so I don't know if that episode has aired or not, but very, very cool. Kudos to Emmy Sunshine. And I am so glad that, she was actually able to get that golden ticket. That's really, really cool. Rob's back in the mix. Apparently Endra Sherry is a little bit bigger than we think. Facebook has apparently got Endra Sherry on that lockdown, which is crazy. I've never heard of them. I've never heard of Endra Sherry at all. Have you?
Dude, you should have, man. They're as big as BTS.
Okay. Well, when they did show the audience during that video, there's like little pieces of audience where they actually go out, and this place is packed. And so I'm hoping that
they looked awesome. I'm not surprised. I mean,
they were so good. So I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to be able to interview them at some point in time. That's going to be great. And for those of you who are listening on the on Funked Up, thank you so much for continuing to listen. For those on the video, I'm really kind of annoyed at this whole Facebook thing, to be totally honest. I'm almost literally thinking possibly about just yanking the show from Facebook and just moving over to YouTube only, just because I mean, if I have any particular instance where I'm going to be, because I've got a feeling this is not going to be the only time that we're going to be cut off here, because we're going to be playing the Crystal Ball in its entirety here in the original configuration. And a lot of these songs obviously are copyrighted. So it's just going to be one of those things where we'll just have to see what's going on. Anyways, congratulations to Emmy Sunshine, who got the golden ticket on American Idol. And
oh yeah, that's really awesome, man. I saw you interview her, and I watched some of your interview, and then I went out and checked some of her music. She's pretty freaking amazing. I think it's really funny that she writes a lot of murder songs. She's like 16 or something. And all her songs about people murdering each other.
Yeah, she's definitely a little bit, she's got, her writing style is very is a lot darker. So it's cool. It's all good. And Nephilia says get an interpreter to help conduct the interview. That's kind of what they're working on right now. I think there's only a couple of them that actually speak broken English, but they try to do they try their best. So that's what they're trying to do, is we're trying to get a little bit of an interview. So I'm looking forward to having them on the show and attracting a bunch of new listeners for sure, because I didn't have any problem. I found a couple of tracks that were awesome. So I went ahead and put them on the show. Well, we're scheduling things out. We'll work it out. So expect to see Endra Sherry on a Funkatopia show coming up. We're just figuring it all out. That's all we're going to do.
Where are you getting comments at from? YouTube?
Yes. So when you see the little icons that have the red YouTube logo next to their picture, that's where everybody's coming from is from YouTube. Everybody's shifting away from Facebook over to YouTube because you don't have to worry about being dropped off there. What will happen with YouTube is that once the video is done and they start to process it, that's when they decide they're going to kick you off. that's when that happens. So anyways, there's this what it is. Listen, I do have one more thing that I wanted to talk about, but I really kind of want to get to this crystal ball configuration here to do this. But I think we're probably going to move this to next week because I asked a super loaded question on Facebook yesterday and everybody just went crazy on this topic. And everybody was really speaking their mind and it was ended up getting really heated. And so I really kind of hit a little bit of a hot button. I saw a special about Graceland, Elvis's home, and how there was a little bit of concern that they would even be able to keep the doors open. And, you know, the fact of the matter is that they have all this direct overflow tourist traffic from Memphis. Whereas with Prince's Paisley Park, you don't have Chanhassen doesn't have that luxury. They don't have that benefit. They're like 45 minutes outside of Minneapolis. So you very much have to go there to kind of, you can't be an afterthought. Like you can't just be in Memphis, just kind of chilling out, listening to music and go, hey, let's go to Elvis's for lunch. And it's not like that with Chanhassen. You have to make, because there's nothing else out there either. They got a new couple of shopping centers, but that's about it. So I said, what can Paisley Park, the location, and also the estates and whatever their effect is on nowadays, who knows, start doing or stop doing in order to make sure that Prince's legacy continues into the new generations? Because I started thinking about the fact that Elvis's fans are like in their 80s now. And most of his fans are pretty much long gone. So that core, now there will always be Elvis fans. I get that. And there will always kind of be that, you know, especially in Tennessee, there will always be that core. But, you know,
some of them, I guess, would be in their 80s. Yeah, but there's still a lot of Elvis fans that would like still be in their 60s, 70s, younger than that too, I suppose. But,
yeah, but you're still talking about a fan base that's starting to kind of clock out. That's the point that I'm saying. You know, you got a huge port because remember now you got it's important.
What about Stitch? What about Stitch? And
I get that. I get the Lilo and Stitch. I get that. Yeah, that's great. That's always good. But it's important to remember that his hits came out in 1955, between 1955 and 1960. So you would probably have been in the teenager, or you know, your fan base is up there. What's concerning is there enough interest from new generations to be able to keep Graceland afloat? And so then, of course, by nature of what we talk about here, is it possible that we may experience the same thing as we start to get 20 years down the road here? Are we going to have to start worrying about, you know, the realism that are we going to be able to keep this afloat? And so I asked the question, what does Paisley Park need to stop doing, or what does Paisley Park need to start doing in order to kind of keep this ball rolling? And there's a lot of great suggestions. And we heard everything from, you know, people saying they need to open up all the rooms. They need to, you know, continue to use it as a recording studio. They need to turn it into a music venue. Then there are people like, music venue is dumb. It's a great idea, but on the same note, it's only going to benefit the people that are local to it. Recording studio would be a great idea, I think, because the fact that the bands would come everywhere to be able to record in these, you know, world-class studios. So I think that's the answer. That's definitely the answer for there. So anyways, we're gonna carry that discussion, and it's
they can work with us more.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So I want to kind of dig a little bit deeper into that topic. So I don't want to get into it now because we really need to kind of get this ball rolling with Crystal Ball. So we're not here all night because there's a lot of friggin' music for Crystal Ball.
So no Grammy talk?
No, I killed the Grammy talk because let's just put it this way. There's a couple of people that I want to say congratulations to, obviously, for Grammy Talk. I did have Grammy Chat on there, but after watching the Grammys, I took it off. So I was like, I really don't want to talk about this. Just because the fact that Well, I mean, there's some expected winners. Billie Eilish, I was excited about because I love Billie Eilish. I think that her, and her brother Phineas are geniuses. Their production work on their albums is just fantastic. So congratulations to Billie Eilish, obviously. Taylor Swift was kind of an eye roller for me. I'm not trying to tick off any Swifties or anything. I'm just saying that, when you see her name on the list, you almost expect her to win. It's just kind of the way the Grammys are. The Grammys really seem to be really focused on sales. It's almost kind of getting to the point where it's the equivalent of like Billboard, where it's based on sales and just everything else. Congratulations to her. She won.
I finally found out what WAP stands for, so I was happy. It's not about a pool. It's not about a pool party. I thought for sure that's what it was about, but it's not.
It's not about smacking somebody on the back either. It's it's not a Batman whatever.
But hey, I gotta say, man, I gotta say that performance on the big ass bed like that was worthy. That was a Prince worthy moment. That was like, I was like, all right, I could see Prince doing that.
There was also
he actually did that. He's actually done that in his shows, but he didn't have a bed that was like the size of a stage.
Well, and that's but Madonna did that on her tour, on the Dare tour. She had a big bed, and she had I remember the story where she had her parents in the front row, and she had to do this masturbating scene in the front, and she had a bed, and her parents were sitting front row, and just like, that's got to be awkward for sure. But yeah,
you've seen it before.
Yeah, you've seen it before. Oh, you didn't lock the door. I'm sorry. So anyway, so
there was some. You know what I was excited about? I'll tell you this. I was excited.
Family fun.
The beginning, it kind of like tapered down. What?
Yeah, it was like family fun. That's definitely
It tapered down, as the show went on. But like when it started out and they had all those performers, I really like the fact that they did that whole thing where they kind of had all the performers on that big stage performing to each other. That's something that there's a show in England that does that, and I'm killing myself that I can't remember the name of it. It's a really cool music show. And when
you're talking about Jules Holland,
yes. Yes.
Yeah, Jules Holland is amazing, but they even do.
And when you get other musicians that are performing to other musicians, you get some killer performances. And that's what I love about his show. And I thought that they stepped it up because they were performing to other musicians. And you're like, I'm not going to let that guy show me up. And you get out there and they perform, and everybody's like, because those other musicians are appreciating what you're doing, regardless of whether they do the same kind of music or not. They're like, damn, that's hot. And like even what's her name, Maren Morris, and I can't think of the guitarist's name. Crap. But when Maren Morris got out there with that guitarist who plays for the Grateful Dead now, and I can't think of his name. Your Body's a Wonderland. What the hell's that guy's name?
John Mayer?
John Mayer, yes. Thank you. I mean,
I knew he had at one point in time he had played with Grateful Dead, but I didn't know he was still doing that anymore.
I think he still is. Yeah, I think he's still touring with them. But yeah, I mean, that was cool because they were like, they were performing together. He was listening to her as a musician. She was listening to him as a musician. Seeing live music like that was so exciting to me because, damn it, the pandemic has like made it so hard to go out and see live music.
Yeah.
And I miss it. That's to me, that was my excitement about the Grammys. And I haven't watched the Grammys for years, but this year I was like watching it partly because I thought we were going to talk about it, and we are. So
I didn't intend to because I mean I knew that was going to be taking up quite a bit of
All right, I'm done.
So, well, and it's fine because there are some people that I mean Dua Lipa. I love Dua Lipa. I think she's great.
Silk Sonic was awesome.
Silk Sonic, obviously, very, very
Bruno
excited.
Mars
and Anderson .Paak are going to be fantastic. The Silk Sonic is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So we're definitely looking forward to that. I've asked both of them to be on the show. We're still working through with the management right now. Probably going to be much better an opportunity to have Anderson on the show. But I've reached out to both of them. I've been pretty annoying about it. For those of you guys who are watching on Facebook and want to participate in the conversation, we've been knocked off of Facebook. You can still watch the broadcast from Facebook, but you can't participate. If you want to actually chat and whatnot, go over to YouTube. Just go to youtube.com, search for Funkatopia, and just go onto the videos and the live video is happening right here, and you'll be able to actually chat and not get kicked off. It's really annoying. So it's kind of weird seeing all these YouTube comments back to back. Harry Styles is another one.
Black Pumas.
What now?
Black Pumas.
Black Pumas. Okay.
I was excited about that too. I like Black Pumas.
Yes, Harry Styles. I like Harry Styles. I think.
He's all right.
Yeah, he's good. He's I think a lot of his music is sleepy, but other than that, he's great though. I think he's got a good tone. I think he's got some interesting chord changes and stuff in his music. Kaytranada, good thing to see Kaytranada. Snarky Puppy, that's always good to see Snarky Puppy in the mix. Snarky Puppy won Best Contemporary Instrumental Album live at the Royal Albert Hall. They're very jazz funk kind of band. They're really kind of good. Surprised to see Fiona Apple in the mix. I haven't seen her in forever.
I didn't realize she won something?
Yeah, Fiona Apple won Best Rock Performance for the song Shamika. And she won. And Best Metal Performance was Bum Rush by Body Count. Ice-T is making an appearance in the...
Wait, Ice-T still with Body Count? I thought he was just selling car shields.
You're not shocked by Fiona Apple, but you're shocked by Body Count. Fiona Apple. Come on now. It's Fiona Apple. She was in the... Okay, never mind.
No, I did Fiona Apple. I'm just saying that I didn't realize that Ice-T...
She actually won Best Alternative Music Album too for Fetch the Bolt Cutters. Fiona Apple did. So and then Beyonce won Best R&B Performance for Black Parade. Lettucey was in that mix. Robert Glasper was in the mix. You can't put Robert Glasper, her, and Michelle Ndegeocello on one song and expect it not to win. It's just got to win.
Yeah,
and, the song.
Her. I was really happy to see her win that. Win that award for the song that she wrote for Black Judas.
That was a good movie too, by the way. Has anybody here seen The United States versus Billie Holiday? Has anybody seen this?
I haven't seen it yet. That's like on my list.
Okay, so I
love Billie Holiday.
Yeah, so The United States versus Billie Holiday is a movie about Billie Holiday and her drug use, and obviously it's really kind of a short biography of sorts, played by Andra Day. And if you were any bit of a creeper, and or whatever.
Oh wait, no, that's not the movie I was thinking of. The movie I was thinking of has got Anika Noni Rose in it.
No, this is Andra Day, and she is there is nothing left to something else.
All right,
there is nothing left to the imagination here at all. Nothing at all left to the imagination. Andra Day is like not only completely and entirely nude in this movie, but you see every single itty bitty part. It's very graphic. And I was actually surprised that, good kudos to her for being brave enough to do a film like this, but wow. Andra Day was very, I didn't realize it was going to be as sexually charged and disturbing as it was. And it very much was a little bit of a shocker for sure. But anyways, she actually had she won an award for a couple of the songs on that soundtrack. So she did revisions of a couple of Billie Holiday songs. And, there was some interesting historical notes about that movie that I did not know too, that all the controversy that the song Strange Fruit caused. We knew that it was controversial, but I had no idea that for some reason I didn't know about the part that when she played that song in concert, she would be shut down. The concert would be completely shut down, kind of like what the Doors experienced whenever they did, whenever they said anything controversial, whenever Jim said anything controversial from the stage. Same thing with her. Anytime that she performed that song, Strange Fruit, everybody lost their shit. And the cops came and arrested her. And there was one concert that she did. She opened up with the song. And of course, when she opened up with the song, then the cops immediately came and arrested her. And man, it's insane.
That's a serious song, man. I mean, that.
Yeah, it's obviously a very, very serious song, but on the same note, it's completely, totally controversial. Back to the Grammy stuff. Sorry, I was just kind of went down the rabbit hole for United States versus Billie Holiday. Yes, it's only on Hulu. You can watch it, but it's very, very graphic. And just know that's not family friendly whatsoever. It's not family friendly. Brian says, we're going back to this Elvis comment. Brian says, I'm 51 years old and I've seen Elvis in Atlanta in 1975, I think. Hard to remember.
Right before he died.
Prince 1988, Cincinnati in 2004 in Atlanta. Yeah. Luckily I've been able to see, lots of different shows. I've been able to see lots of different shows with Prince, obviously tons. And, but I've never had an opportunity to see Elvis. There's some people that I wish that I would have seen. I never got the opportunity to see. I had an opportunity to see BB King and I missed it. I had an opportunity to see Rick James and I missed it because it was Rick James and Tina Marie. They had gotten back together and they were doing like this kind of reunion tour. It was just, but I guess that was the end all to end all because they kind of got back together and they slipped into their old ways. And it ended up eventually killing both of them within a 2-year period of time after that tour. But man, I tell you, man, it's shocking. It's really, really shocking that so much great music out there. So if you got an opportunity, somebody that is on your bucket list that you want to see once these concerts start coming back in, you absolutely got to check it out. Yeah, Crystal, good point. Get a free Hulu trial if you want to see the movie. Just get it and then cancel it.
Close it out.
It's not expensive. I think it's like pretty inexpensive. It's like $3.99 or $4.99 a month or something if you do a commercial version. But it's fine. Are you tapping your foot or something?
Oh shit! Why? What's happening?
I can hear.
What am I doing?
I don't know. I'm hearing like some. Maybe it's me. Is it me?
Are you tapping your foot?
I don't know. I'm not tapping.
I remember you used to do that. We'd be driving along. You'd
all the time. I'm like friggin' crazy, man. Oh, $5.99. Crystal Bell says with commercials. That's all fine.
Oh, you know what? If you happen to have Sprint or I don't know now that they're part of T-Mobile, but
yeah, Verizon too. Included. Yeah. Verizon, you can get a bunch of different things. If you're on Verizon, you can get Disney Plus for free. You can get Discovery Plus for free. They have like a bunch of different stations that you get for free with Verizon. So I lucked out with that, but Hulu's the only one that I actually pay for. Well, Netflix. My mother actually uses my Netflix account and I just found out that Netflix is cracking down on those things.
I was about to say, cracking down, man.
Let's just hope that Spotify doesn't do that for you guys anyways. But anyways,
I'm part of your family.
Yes, I know. Yes,
I'm your freaking brother.
Man, whatever. What's up? For last time, for those watching on Facebook without the capability to be able to chat, it's because Facebook has cut us off because we played music from an amazing band from Japan called Endra Sherry, and they cut us off. They dropped everybody off. So you can still watch, but you cannot actually participate. If you want to participate, go to youtube.com/user/Funkatopia. And you will be able to join in with the chat on YouTube like everybody here and actually continue to participate in the conversation. Our audience was like twice the size of what it was before, but we knocked everybody off. And that actually, they're probably still here. They're probably still here. And I know that, there's tons of people online right now. So everybody has shifted over to the radio station or YouTube. So great. All right. So here we go. We're about to do the crystal ball configuration. This is for OGs only, and the reason why I say that is because it's a marketing tactic. So what we're doing is
you don't have to leave if you're not an OG.
You have people going,
you can stay.
Wait a second. I'm an OG. I'm in the house.
You can stay.
I'm gonna I do want to do in the future, I do want to do a show as my Cletus character, the Too Much Prince guy. I want to do an entire show, but I want to do like makeup and beard and be like, yeah, great. I want to do the whole entire show in character and see if I can pull it off. See if I can pull it off. I doubt I can, but it'll be fun to try.
You'll break.
Don't you think it's fun to try?
I'll make you break.
Yeah, it'll have to be a wine night for sure. I understand why y'all play so much Prince.
Prince.
It's Prince. Y'all got some kind of stir going around here. Tonight, Crystal Ball. I'm gonna have to do an entire show as my Cletus character. Somebody had actually emailed me and said, "Who is that guy that does the too much Prince thing?" And I was like, "I don't know who that is." Anyway, you got something broken up in your skull. What's wrong with y'all? Anyways, tonight we're doing Crystal Ball, the original configuration from 1986. For those of you who don't know, Crystal Ball was officially released in 1998, and it was a 3 CD. Actually, it was technically 4 CDs. So I think they had 3 CDs, and then he also packaged The Truth with that as well. Now, when he originally put this together, it was 3 CDs, and it was Crystal Ball. It was going to be released in 1986, and he gave those 3 CDs to Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers said it's just too much. I guess it must have been a marketing. I think it was more of a budget thing. Maybe they thought it was too much music, but it was also probably going to cost them more to actually do the CDs and everything. So they decided that they were going to just kind of, I guess they were just going to just progress by saying, no, it's not going to happen. So what they ended up doing was
you're giving us too much stuff to make money off of.
Yeah,
man. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, we know that you're our number 1 top seller, but slow it down. Anyways, so I mean, it would be the knife that put the death blow into the whole relationship in the first place, because Prince was getting frustrated. By the time we got to the 90s, he was just, he was just like, I'm pushing out so much music and they're not releasing it like I want, which is, why Paisley Park Records came to be, why NPG Records came to be, it was just, it was nuts. Anyways, and why also he had to write into his contract that he was going to be allowed to write music for other people and release albums as The Time, as Sheila E., as Sheena Easton, as this, that, and the other. So he was writing so much that he had to be multiple people in order to be able to accommodate his output, which is insane. Anyways, so that all being said, we're going to have 2 different tracks here. I'm about to go into the intro, and we're going to break into this Crystal Ball 1986 configuration. So here's what I'm going to tell you. If you are listening on the Funked Up app, that's where you're going to want to listen. If you want to listen to the entire album straight through without any interruptions whatsoever, there's a bumper like every 3 songs or every 4 songs or something like that, but that's the only interruptions that you'll have. So you'll be able to listen to the album in its entirety without me talking over it at all. If you want to get a little bit of background information on every single one of the songs, then stay on the video channel, which is on Facebook and on YouTube. Obviously, if you want to participate, you need to go onto YouTube, because Facebook has already kicked us off because of Andra Sherry. So, and it's probably not even pronounced like that at all.
Not their fault.
It's not. I played a song from Andra Sherry, which is an amazing funk band from Japan, and I had no idea that Facebook knew who they were. I didn't know who they were, so I assumed that Facebook didn't know who they were. I was wrong. Anyways, Facebook obviously knew, so they cut us off. So you can't participate in chat anymore on Facebook. You can watch, but you can't touch. So on YouTube. So this is your own little personal purple strip club. You can watch, but you can't touch on Facebook. So
make sure you get them dollar bills out.
Coming up on center stage, it's Diamond. Everybody get your dollar bills ready. Please make sure you tip your bartenders and waitresses. So anyways, so we're going to be doing an album chat of sorts here on Facebook and YouTube, where we're going to be, you'll be able to hear the music in the background lightly, but I'll be talking over it, giving you a little bit of background information about what was going on with the song and whatnot. So without further ado, if you want the album chat, stay on YouTube and Facebook. If you want the album without me talking at all, and you just want to hear the music and shut up, Chris, go to Funked Up. Go to the Funked Up app or go to funkatopia.com and listen via there. But both of you guys are going to get the intro, which starts right now. As I mentioned, we kind of went through where you got to go to listen to everything. So I've actually got to scroll past all that information. So many people have only heard of Crystal Ball in its released form when it dropped in 1998. But for the OGs in the house, we were fully aware of the existence of this album back in the 80s, 1986 to be exact. For me, Rob, I don't know about you, but for me, I became aware of Crystal Ball around 1988, that it was a thing, that it was an album that was unreleased. That's all that I knew about it. And that's when the bootlegs kind of really started to come out in the Recastos.
Yeah, I don't think you shared with me. I think you fucked out the jersey or something.
Maybe I don't know. I think, see, there was a little bit different back then because we didn't have emails, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have the internet. There wasn't, I couldn't just go, Rob, have you heard this? In order for me to tell you, I had to like copy it and stick it in the mail and send it to you if I wasn't next to you or I wasn't in the same it was going to be a nightmare. So yeah, and of course, I had Crystal Ball on cassette, and I also had the Black Album on CD, both of which of course with the CD, I then transferred it to cassette so I could use it on my Walkman. But both of which came out as bootlegs and were pretty widely distributed bootlegs. But with Crystal Ball, the version that I had, that configuration that I had in 88, that configuration was all over the place. I mean, the one I had Witness on it. Witness is not on this Crystal Ball. Super Funkadelic-Fragilistic, which was on Black Album, it's not on this configuration either, and others. So there was kind of like this, I think that there was people guessing at configurations, or maybe he just had like a bunch of different configurations, and this is where he eventually settled, which is what we're going to be talking about now. But I had heard a lot of these songs from the Black Album and from Crystal Ball and from Sign of the Times. You know, obviously we had heard Sign of the Times, but I had heard a lot of these songs before all that. For this 1986 configuration that we'll be listening to tonight, it's going to seem like you're listening to a different configuration of Sign of the Times with some surprises. You'll hear most of Sign of the Times, but also there's going to be a couple Black Album tracks in there, a couple of previously unreleased tracks like The Ball and Good Love, and other songs like Shakadelica, et cetera. It's very much not the Crystal Ball that you got in 1998. It's very much not that, which I love, by the way. But again, it's more about his original vision and what it looked like. And it's kind of insight into how he wanted this album to flow back at that time. So again, I've already done the album chats for Sign of the Time before. So if you want to listen to any of those, head to patreon.com/Funkatopia. That's you can see it scrolling on the bottom here if you're watching the video, but that's patreon.com/Funkatopia. You'll be able to listen to the album chats there. We are actually in the process of creating an album chat website that's going to have all of the album chats on there. It's going to be it's a massive undertaking. So is the video stuff of it as well. Also, I do want to say something really, really quick too, for anybody that may actually be considering going to Minneapolis in the near future. I did want to make sure that you were aware that PrinceCelebration.com is a website that is up and running right now that we created. I created. It's called PrinceCelebration.com. And if you're planning to go to Minneapolis, it is actually a map of Minneapolis and the surrounding areas like Chanhassen and St. Paul, and all of the different murals and different Prince historic sites that are all over that town. And it doesn't have all of them, but it has a bunch of them. And it's So, and it's pretty extensive. So I reached out and I got most of these people to send me different things, murals and stuff. And so people have kind of been adding to it, but it's an amazing, really, really cool map that will allow you to be able to go from one location to the other. So you can kind of plan out your day. If you go to Minneapolis and you want to make it a big purple Prince day, head to princecelebration.com and check it out. Pull it up on your phone, and then you can just kind of go from place to place and check it out. And you can kind of see the little pictures too. It's pretty awesome. So anyways, that's just a little bit of a rabbit hole, but I wanted to mention that because we were talking about the fact that, Paisley Park wanted to kind of keep that legacy going. And that's definitely one way you can make sure that you're really going to get the most out of your visit to Minneapolis if you go. Anyways, this configuration is from November 1986. It was a triple album that clocked in right under 2 hours. It was a mesh of other albums that did not make it out, which were, again, we were talking about Sign of the Times is what this eventually became, Camille, Dream Factory, which would have been the Revolution's last album. But he decided he was going to pull the plug on Revolution, and then those songs just kind of went everywhere. That all being said, it was sent to Warner Brothers in this format that you're about to hear, and Warner Brothers decided that they would just rather have it be a single album or a double album and not the triple album that this was. So it got 7 songs ripped from it and became to what we know and love as Sign of the Times. And Susan Rogers, who obviously did a lot of production work for Prince, said it was one of those rare meetings where the label executives actually came to the studio. And he was upset about it when they told him, obviously, that he was going to have to cut some songs. And then he accepted it, and we moved on. And Prince said, I delivered 3 CDs for Sign of the Times, he said in Prince Life and Times. He said, because people at Warner Brothers were tired, they came up with reasons why I should be tired too. And I don't know if it's their place to talk me in or out of things. So therefore, he just that was his kind of way of just writing them off. But eventually became Sign of the Times instead of this extended Crystal Ball album that we have. This album has a lot of Wendy and Lisa from the Revolution on it for the Sign of the Times era songs. The entire Revolution on It's Gonna Be a Beautiful Night, obviously, and horns with Eric Leeds and Atlanta Bliss. And for those staying here on the video, I will be telling you who is playing on each one of these songs as they play. And for those jumping ship over to Funked Up and Funkatopia.com, just tuck that away. You're listening to a lot of great stuff. And if you want to follow along, you can go to Prince Vault and go to the unreleased albums area and be able to kind of look at the whole song list and also be able to follow along, see what you want, see what's coming up. It is also the first public appearance that I'm aware of Prince's alter ego, Camille. I've got to create a cartoon character called the Alter Ego. I have to now. Now I've done something to my brain. So again, last warning, turn on Funked Up or click listen live on Funkatopia.com to hear the album without chat right now. For you must know all things Prince folks, stay where you are. And if you're watching us on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, just stay put, because I'm going to fill your head with a bunch of details about each one of these songs. So you're going to have a great, great time. Either way that you decide to go, whatever you decide to do, you're going to have a great, great night. So without further ado, here is Crystal Ball, the 1986 version as Prince originally had intended it. And it doesn't start with Crystal Ball. There's shock number 1. That's
one of my favorite songs.
That's the first thing that you should know. It's on this album, but it doesn't open with this album like Crystal Ball did. The opening track is actually Rebirth of the Flesh. And so we're going to go ahead and get everything started up. I'm going to have to move everything to the 9 o'clock hours. It's going to be crazy. It's so much music. I just have to move all this stuff around. It's insane. But so it opens up with Rebirth of the Flesh. So here you go. The 1986 configuration of the one, the only Crystal Ball, starting with Rebirth of the Flesh right here on the Funkatopia radio show. Enjoy, everyone. All right. So we're going to have, all right, so yeah, where does the kids? We have to absolutely positively make sure we got to keep an eye on the time. So let's talk about Rebirth of the Flesh. Since everybody's here with Rebirth of the Flesh, we're going to talk about that. So this song, Rebirth of the Flesh, was recorded by Prince October 28th, 1986. It was pretty much the day after he was recording Feel You Up, and the same day as Rock Hard in a Funky Place, and 2 days before the song Good Love, which is also on this. It ended up on the Bright Lights Big City soundtrack. In case you missed the date, the song celebrates its 34th birthday, actually 36th birthday coming up here soon. It was included as the first track on the November 5th, 1986 configuration of the Camille album. And then, of course, once Camille got squashed, then, of course, ended up here on Crystal Ball. And, of course, what's also interesting is that the song is not credited to Prince. It's credited to Camille, which is pretty interesting. And again, it was considered for both Camille and also Dream Factory. A few weeks later, it was also included as the first track on this Crystal Ball configuration that we're listening to right now. And when Warner Brothers was forced Prince to pare down the album from 3 albums to 2, Rebirth of the Flesh is the song that got flushed. It eventually ended up on the Black Album, but it's just gone. We finally get to see the song here. I know there's been a lot of different variations of this song that have kind of been floating around because he kind of makes little adjustments here and there. But there is a rehearsal version of in 1988 labeled Rebirth of the Flesh Rehearsal 88, timely enough. And if you were part of the MPG Music Club, it was on the MPG Music Club edition number 8. So if you've never heard that, it's pretty amazing. No other details about musicians, recording dates, or locations were given, but Greg Brooks is audible and also gets a call out in the song, which means that the song probably dates that it be recorded somewhere around February of 1986, that 88 version. And Wally Safford had actually officially left the band at this point in time. The studio version that you're hearing here is Prince on all vocals and instruments as Camille, and Eric Leeds on sax and Atlanta Bliss on trumpet. But for the most part, everything else is Prince. So it's kind of interesting, Rebirth of the Flesh, like you said, is one of my all-time favorite songs. It's got so much stuff going on. It's got these little changes and drops in it that are really interesting. Is Black Album the first time that you heard Rebirth of the Flesh?
I think I probably heard Rebirth of the Flesh on no, it wasn't on the Black Album that I ended up getting. I think it was just a combination of a bunch of outtakes or something. It wasn't outtakes, it was just a combination of a bunch of bootleg stuff that I had. You and I used to go to the Rekisto. And,
Yep.
That would be one of the things we'd look for. And there were a couple places we went to had better bootleg stuff than others. And I think this was on a disc that I got for, $35 back in the day, which was pretty high.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And,
That was a lot. I think I remember paying like $40 for Black Album, which was a crappy CD version. It was just bad quality. It was just
the quality wasn't that great.
That was the risk you took.
Yeah, and honestly, I still to this day like the '88 rehearsal better. Once I heard the '88 rehearsal, that's still my favorite version of the song because it's the sound is better, and I just like the way it starts, and I love the fact that this song is a complex song, and I love the fact that like they start out and they have a false start and they're like, okay, let's try it again. It's like you can tell they're all like, this fucking song.
Yeah, so it's about to go
killer song.
Yeah, and it's about to go from Rebirth of the Flesh into Play in the Sunshine right now. So we're going to be able to enjoy this little segue here. Oh, I guess it just kind of starts with the actual kid, and that version has always stayed in place, where you have all the kids playing out in I guess it's a playground or something. You kind of hear all the talking and whatnot. And but as far as Play in the Sunshine is concerned, that's the next song that's on this. Play in the Sunshine, obviously, second track here. It's also, interesting enough, the second track on the Sign of the Times release as well. So it kind of kept its place where it's at. The basic tracking of this song took place November 22nd, 1986, which I find very interesting. This song was recorded 8 days before he handed it over as this Crystal Ball collection. So like literally, normally people are in the mastering mode here and they're just like, all right, we gotta perfect this and perfect it and polish it and polish it and polish it and polish it. And a song has to be in existence for at least a month or two before people are comfortable handing it over. He recorded this like a week, just a little over a week before he actually made it part of this configuration for Crystal Ball and handed it in to Warner Brothers to kind of give you this unbelievable perception into his prowess as far as how immaculate of a it was just amazing. Dude's incredible. It was also Susanna Melvoin's final recording session with Prince was this particular song, which was the same day that he did the overdubs for It's Gonna Be a Beautiful Night, which we're going to talk about. There's some really interesting stuff going on there a lot of people aren't aware of. As mentioned, it's a little bit of an anti-drug message here with, we want to play in the sunshine. We want to be free without the help of a margarita or ecstasy. Then, of course, there's all that, Alice in Wonderland type of psychedelic lyrics here that we were talking about before, like till the gorilla falls off the wall. And then, of course, pop goes the music when the big white rabbit begins to talk. Kind of reminds me of the, look for the purple banana till they put us in the truck. I mean, he had a lot of those types of weird, kind of strange visuals that he would pop up. But then, of course, he finished it off with that blistering solo at the end of this song, which is incredible. In this particular song, this is another one of these clips that I was not able to find the version that was actually on this original configuration, because this song is supposed to have started with some sampled gunshots. The song is supposed to start with a bunch of gunshots, not a bunch of kids playing like we just heard. And it's supposed to end with those gunshots as well. It's the same exact gunshots that were used in the song Bob George and also 13. There are some standard samples that were in the Fairlight CMI synthesizer. But the first time this song was ever played was in May of 1987 in Stockholm, Sweden. And the last time they played it was not too long later, was December 31st, New Year's Eve on 1987 at Paisley Park Studios in Chanhassen, which we got an opportunity to see that show on the Sign of the Times album release party up in Minneapolis. And it was just really, really cool to see that. And it's on the Sign of the Times. You can actually hear it on the Sign of the Times Super Deluxe as well. This song is all Prince on vocals and instruments, and the only other person that's credited is Susanna Melvoin on background vocals. It's pretty cool. It's one of these. I find it really interesting that Susanna was kind of all over these different versions of the song. She was like really active, and then she was not. So, and then of course they got that Big Tall Wall song, which was kind of like the kind of final straw for Susanna. He moved Susanna out of Paisley Park or out of where he was staying and put her up into this apartment that was this kind of circular building apartment complex in Minneapolis, and that's where he wrote the song Big Tall Wall. And that's the reasoning behind that song, Big Tall Wall. So it's a lot of little bit tidbits and stuff, and a lot of history that kind of goes in with all this. The obvious, most big glaring thing here is that all this stuff was supposed to be songs for the Revolution on Dream Factory. And when I played that Dream Factory configuration, it was so amazing. It was such a great configuration, because I've heard all those songs, but to hear them in that order and broken up with those really intricate pieces like visions and colors, it was just such a masterpiece the way that it was. So it was a real big bummer that Dream Factory didn't happen. So now it's going to be going from Dream Factory, Play in Sunshine to Housequake, which is the same exact configuration that we know from Sound of the Times.
I was, Playing the Sunshine. Actually, it took me a while for that one to grow on me.
Really?
I remember. Yeah, I used to skip past it to get to Housequake.
It's a great song.
I can appreciate it now, but at the time, it just wasn't. I don't know.
I can probably I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. So I'm just trying to make sure that we're not.
We are.
I'm just trying to make sure that it keeps on moving forward. All right, Housequake is where we are right now. Of course, this song is a little bit of a mystery to me too. It was when I first heard it. This used to be my favorite song, but for me, it kind of it grew stale really quick for me. I liked it for a really long period of time, but if I can only take it in doses. It's a cult favorite, obviously. But what's interesting about this song is that this song was recorded the day that he fired the Revolution. That's what's interesting. That's what's the most interesting about this track out of everything for Housequake. He literally let the Revolution go on this day, and then he went into the studio and recorded this song. That's just weird. And supposedly this song actually came out of a late night session that he was doing with the Bangles, believe it or not. He had recorded Manic Monday and he was doing a jam session with the Bangles, and then Housequake kind of came out of this. This obviously is the third track on Sign of the Times, but it's also the third track here as well. And it was the B-side. If you look at where it's at now as a Sign of the Times track, it was the B-side to the single You Got the Look, which was a huge hit off of Sign of the Times. Obviously, we know that. Yep. Basic tracking of this one took place October 18th, 1986. Again, it was just, according to this, it says the day after the Revolution's disbanding. Well, he had told him, and then the day after this when they kind of got disbanded. Susan Rogers says it's one of those songs he spent a lot of time on, which usually meant, I assume, that the song was one he considered especially important or he particularly enjoyed working on. And she said it came at a time when there were other changes in his life. His musical instruments, his style, his colors, and the people around him were evolving. It is only my guess, but I think Housequake represented a new idea in dance music for him. And this song was also supposed to be on Camille, and it didn't. And it was planned to be the B-side to the single, was for the single that would have been Shockadelica. But Shockadelica ended up being on the flip side of If I Was Your Girlfriend, if I remember correctly.
That sounds right.
And then the first time this song was played was in March of 1987 at First Avenue in Minneapolis. And then the last time he actually played it during the Prince Piano and a Microphone tour in 2016 on March 22nd, almost 5 years to the day, only like 5 days away from being the 5-year anniversary of the last time they played this song in Quebec, Canada. For this one, it's Prince on all vocals as Camille. Got Eric Leeds on sax, Atlanta Bliss on trumpet, and then, of course, the party voices on here are Gilbert Davidson, Coke Johnson, Todd Harriman, Susan Rogers, Mike Soltis, Brad Marsh, and it also lists the Penguin, which was a plush prop that was not an actual person that also played one of the party voices. And the story there is that the Penguin is credited was a plush toy penguin that would lie around in the studio. Because of the sometimes long hours, people would fall asleep and others would place the penguin with them and take a Polaroid picture of them sleeping with the penguin next to them. The crew brought the Penguin on the Sign of the Times tour as a crew mascot. And in Rotterdam, when they were shooting the Sign of the Times movie, the crew placed it behind the big mirror heart where Prince and Kat would lie against at the end of If I Was Your Girlfriend when it was lower down. You can see the Penguin facing Prince as the heart came down. And obviously it made the whole entire crew crack up when they saw it. Not a whole bunch of time left on Housequake. It ends in 15 seconds. Now, here's something interesting. Remember, this is Ballad of Dorothy Parker that goes right into from Housequake. And I think it's right after this one, too. Hold on a second. So then it goes into Ballad of Dorothy Parker, which obviously is the non-horn version with Eric Leeds. I know we chatted about this before, because I didn't want to recover all the details since, because of the fact that we're kind of talking about this little configuration. We're not necessarily redoing an album chat again, but we are talking about each one of the individual songs here from the Dorothy Parker type of thing. I think I can turn it up a little bit now. I've already been kicked off of Facebook. What more can they do to me?
Kick us off. Kick us off.
Yeah, so the song was supposed to be on Dream Factory, of course, and then it was moved to Crystal Ball and ultimately on Sign of the Times. As for who Dorothy Parker is, she is a mid-20th century writer famous for her witty comebacks, She was famous for saying beauty is only skin deep, but ugly goes clean to the bone. But Prince claimed to not have known who she was and that he just picked the name because of how it sounded. But Eric Leeds, who plays saxophone for Prince, obviously doesn't believe that. He said there was just too much similarity in the name and the way that he built Dorothy into a character who has that same quick wit and mannerisms as the real Dorothy Parker. He told Mojo Magazine, he said, when I first heard it, I thought, wow, of all people to even know who Dorothy Parker was, I kind of thought maybe Susanna or Wendy Melvoin had told him about her. But it turned out he didn't have any clue. He just picked the name because of how it sounded. And only after the fact did they tell him who she was. Yet another one of the many songs that would reference Joni Mitchell, and this time singing a line from her 1974 song, Help Me, from her classic album, Court and Spark, which just happens to be right here.
Help me, I think I'm falling.
And what's also interesting about the song is that it's one of the first to be recorded at one of the studios at Paisley Park, and it has that muffled, muted sound to it. Then there's a reason for that. According to Susan Rogers, she said the console had not been tested yet. So while we were doing Dorothy Parker, I'm thinking, God, this is awful because there was no high end, and I couldn't test it because he was working. Typical of Prince, our session lasted roughly 24 hours. We didn't get out of there until the next day, and he was totally happy. The seed of the song came in a dream anyway, so he used that artistically. He just kind of let the whole thing kind of be muffled. So that whole thing, as far as the muted sounds, was completely by accident because the board wasn't hooked up correctly. But it was fine. She was so afraid that she was going to get fired, but she was actually relieved because he heard it and he loved it. And he told her, he said, there are no accidents. And if there are, it's up to us to look at them as something different. And you know, one of the things he always did was he never liked to admit when something was wrong. Even if he makes a mistake playing guitar solo, if you hear something really bad in a guitar solo he does, he'll do it again. He always did that. Whenever he hit like a bad note, he would hit a bad note again, a second time, to make you think that was intentional. And he told everybody, and he would tell people that played with him too, if you hit a bad note or in doing a run, do it again, do it a second time. So that way people think that you did it intentionally and that it was supposed to be there.
That's an old musician trick. Hendrix did it. I mean, that's been around forever. Yeah. And you know what? Every freaking musician says it because they're like, oh, I meant to do that.
And this is Prince on all vocals and instruments, and of course Susanna Melvoin on the background vocals. And of course, then we go to our first bumper of the day, which kind of is going to remind people what they're listening to. It's going to remind people what they're listening to in case somebody happened to join us and wasn't aware of what they tuned in on. But the first time this song was ever I'm going to let you tell the story because I want you to tell the story about this next song. Yes. Here we go.
Oh, for it. Okay. Well, I was going to talk about Dorothy Parker a little bit because basically she was part of something called the Algonquin Round Table, which was a bunch of artists and actresses and writers who all got together at this hotel called the Algonquin. And it originally started out, this guy came back. I think it was Wolcott. I can't remember. I don't know all the writers and stuff. But he came back from the war, and he got irritated that the New York Times didn't plug something he was doing. And so they all these guys that knew him invited him over to have dinner. And they all kind of like made fun of him and stuff. And it just kind of, he ended up thinking it was so freaking funny that he said, well, let's just keep meeting here. So they started meeting there all the time. They play games, poker, cribbage, or whatever. And they called themselves the Vicious Circle because they were just righteous on each other as far as how they would just use their wit and stuff. And Dorothy Parker was the one who was like the most vicious. That's kind of where that came from. And so I agree. I think he knew exactly what he was doing when he made the song about Dorothy Parker.
So for it, I don't have a whole bunch of information about this, but I will tell you that Prince plays all the vocals and instruments. The first time it was played was in May of 1987 in Stockholm, Sweden, but it was just it was an instrumental interpolation from When Doves Cry. And the last time it was played was the Prince Piano and a Microphone at the Oracle Arena in Oakland, California for Prince Piano and a Microphone. And even though it isn't listed in the set list for the Sign of the Times movie, it is actually there. You can actually see it there because it is actually done in Forever in My Life. They kind of go into a little bit of the It song a little bit. But what's funny is that when we actually bought this album, it was like a collective purchase, and we purchased it.
Whoa, hold on.
Okay. Go ahead.
They used to release all the new albums. I don't know if they still do it or not, but they used to release all the new albums on Tuesday. I think they kind of still do that, however they release music nowadays.
Right.
And and so the new album would come out on Tuesday, and even though Chris and I went to the School of the Arts out there in Atlanta, we liked going to our chorus class, which was probably like a quarter of the day. It was like at least a 2-hour class.
Billy Densmore.
What's that?
Billy Densmore.
With Billy Densmore.
Rest in peace.
And he was a big fan of Robert Shaw. And anyway, so we used to go and we sang Mozart's Requiem and stuff like that. We liked going to that class, but we didn't really care for much for the other classes. So whenever something would come out that we would really dig, we'd be like, hey, we don't need to go to school. Let's go do that. And so we did that with Coming to America when it came out, the original movie. And then, of course, anytime a new Prince album came out, which they came out every year, sometimes more. And so we would just go to the record store. I was like, what do you want to do? Let's go to the record store. So we go, when this album came out, it was coming out on Tuesday. I was like, oh, we don't, let's just go get the album. And so we did, we got up, the place opened at 10. I don't think it was Turtles we went to, but it was, I don't even remember the name of the record store. It's on Druid Hills, I think, or Cheshire Bridge. Anyway, doesn't matter. And so we went and got it, and we were excited. I mean, Sign of the Times. We were really
album, man.
Double album. We were hyped, and I think You Got the Look was the first single that was released, and then maybe, or was it Sign of the Times first? I can't remember. I thought it was
Times was first.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, and we were very hip to it. We went to got out of school. I got somebody's car, and
the song ends in 45 seconds.
It's a long story, man. It's important. And and so anyway, so we got it, and we were just so excited. So I was driving. I was like, Chris, he was opening it up. He was like, let's take a look. And he was opening it up, and all the lyrics were there. So we started reading off all the songs to the lyrics. And I almost crashed the car because he got to it, and then he started reading it. He was like, I think about it, baby, all the time. All right? It feels so good. It must be a crime. All right? I want to do it, baby, every day. All right? In a bed, on the stairs, anywhere. All right? I want to do it, baby, all the time. All right? Because when we do it, girl, it's so divine. All right? And it was just... and he was like, doing it. And I was like, what the hell is this song?
And then, of course, when we hear it, it didn't nearly have the same impact. Oh, my gosh. Which takes us to the next song that is playing right now, Starfish and Coffee, which is Jaden's favorite song of all time. And, of course, in 2002, there was a brief live piano version that was also called Starfish and Coffee that was on the One Night Alone live CD as well. Basic tracking for this song took place April 20th, 1986 at Prince's Galpin Boulevard home studio in Chanhassen. Of course, it was originally going to be they actually added the alarm clock part of it at the beginning of the song because they kind of wanted to make more they're more kid-friendly songs that was going to be on an album called Happy Tears that he was writing for his child. So he was creating a children's album with Maite called Happy Tears, and he was going to have this. And there was a bunch of other songs too, Don't Talk to Strangers, and a bunch of other songs that he was making for his child. And of course, the album was abandoned once their son died from complications from Pfeiffer syndrome. Happy Tears as an album just got canned. It was just gone. So the version that was on here obviously did not have the alarm clock, but it was repurposed. It was going to be repurposed for Happy Tears, and it did not end up going there. Obviously, as far as the song is concerned, it's a song that Susanna Melvoin had told Prince about this girl that she went to school with named Cynthia. And of course, she tells a story. I think Cynthia was dropped off from another world entirely with the extraordinary images only Cynthia knew the meanings behind. Her favorite number for many years was the number 12. That's not what the actual song says. But I knew this because she'd rock back on her force asking her if you knew what her favorite number was for the day. And it was always shocking to her that you knew what her favorite number was. I would inevitably say, I think it's 12, right, Cynthia? And she would be amazed and joyous that you guessed it right. And then, of course, she tells a song about where the actual title came from. And she said, Cynthia would reveal that what she had for breakfast, consistently, it was starfish and pee-pee. I never understood the combo meal. Furthermore, as a consequence, nobody else would. It was actually the deal breaker for Prince. Prince basically changed it to starfish and coffee as opposed to pee-pee. And of course, he recorded it, and he was very, very proud of it, obviously. And it's Prince on all vocals and instruments for the whole entire song. But it's a really funny story about Cynthia and the whole background on that as well. Which goes into the next song here, which is Slow Love that we're listening to right here in the background. Can you hear this on StreamYard at all? Or I'm trying to kind of keep it a little bit low so we don't like go completely down a path where they like also yank the video too. Slow Love is the 7th track on A Sign of the Times, but it's actually
okay.
Yeah, you can keep the Muppets up there. It's okay. It's still fun. It's all good. This is all
good. Have you ever seen this?
I absolutely have. Yes, I have.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
I love this.
So this song, Slow Love, was written by Carol Davis, whom Prince presumably met in 1984. For those who don't know, Carol Davis was a Playboy model in 1978, and she also posed in Penthouse under the name Tamara Capitas, and also became Penthouse Pet of the Month in January of 1980 and runner-up for Pet of the Year in 1981. She was also an actress that most people knew as the female lead role of Roxy Shield in the movie Mannequin. She signed with Warner Brothers and had an album called Heart of Gold that was produced by Nile Rodgers of Chic, of course, and of course his own stuff. And he produced that hit that called Serious Money off of that album. So a lot of people think that Slow Love, as far as her was concerned, was a cover of Prince's song. It's actually in reverse. She wrote the song and Prince did this version here. So she actually gets writing credit here, which is very unusual in the Prince world. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so the song is written and inspired by her and by Carol Davis. But this particular song was recorded June 4th, 1986, again at that Galpin Boulevard home studio. It's Prince on all vocals and instruments, Eric Leeds on saxophone, Atlanta Bliss on trumpet, Wendy Melvoin on guitar and backing vocals, and of course Lisa Coleman on backing vocals, and Claire Fisher did the orchestration on the strings. First time this song was played was March 21st, 1987 at First Avenue in Minneapolis, and the last time the song would ever be played would be February 13th, 1989, the day before Valentine's Day in Osaka, Japan. Very, very cool. Some of the stories that come with this, unless you know some of the history of where some of these songs get written and some of the stories behind them, you just kind of listen to them. And, sometimes, when we were talking about Play in the Sunshine and I was doing some research, I never knew what he said right there at the beginning of that song.
What does he say? I don't either.
Well, he says, let me pull that thing back up.
Something about playing in the park, ladies.
It says, we want to play in the sunshine. We want to be free without the help of a margarita or ecstasy. I didn't know that's what he said there. I thought it was saying something else. And until I started doing the research and actually started listening to the lyrics, reading the lyrics, I had no idea that's what he said. Without the help of a margarita or ecstasy, I don't know what I thought he said. Maybe I just sang sounds every time I listened.
We must have gotten home before that song came up on the.
I don't know what I thought he was saying, but I think it's interesting because sometimes when I read the lyrics of songs, I'm like, oh, that's what he says.
Yeah,
it is what it is. It's pretty amazing. So the next song is Hot Thing.
Hot thing.
Eighth track on Sign of the Times. I don't know exactly what the count is where we're at right now, but it's I remember we always used to make fun of that. Hot Thing. We used to do it.
Hot Thing.
I've been doing all this talking. I can't do it anymore. It was the B-side to the album's fourth single, I Could Never Take the Place of Your Man. And of course, there are also two remixes that were done by Shep Pettibone that were on the 12-inch version of that. Around the same time, Hot Thing was available as a promo-only single that they gave to a bunch of different radio stations to play. And of course, this song also found its way onto the soundtrack for Girl 6 in 1996, which is a Spike Lee movie. And of course, that began a really intense relationship between him and Spike Lee, and not intense in a romantic way, just intense as far as every single time that Spike did something, Prince was involved somehow.
He was a big fan.
He was a huge fan, and they were both fans of each other, so it was really good. While Hot Thing is pretty raw from a musical standpoint, Eric Leeds really shines here, and he's pretty much lucky that Prince never took on to playing horns. He was never really into playing horns. Eric Leeds said he had always had tremendous players in his band, regardless of what instruments they play. That's what he said in 2016. But if they played guitar or keyboards or bass or drums, he could really just pick up the bass guitar and get behind the keyboard and drums and show them exactly what he wanted by playing it. He couldn't do that with horns, so the method of communication was a little bit different, and it kind of enabled us to take on more of a role in the band. And of course, you're not really told what you can do. Of course, I think of the song Cocoa Boys. I find it really interesting that the version of Cocoa Boys that I had heard before the official release on Sign of the Times here, he would do those horn parts. He would go, did it. You would hear him do that. And then it wasn't until you actually heard the actual release with the horn pieces in place, it was like, oh, it's all right. There you go. So it's just Prince and Eric Leeds on this song. First time it was played was in 1986 in September at Yokohama Stadium. But the lyrics only. He'd only done the lyrics to this during the song Head. So that would have been interesting to hear the song Head with these lyrics. The first time the song was actually played was March 21st, 1987 at First Avenue. And the last time was during the Prince Piano and a Microphone tour in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. But it was only during a little bit of a sampler set for sure. Some of the history of these songs is always kind of I don't know. I'm really looking forward to when we eventually get this Album Chat website up, because it is a massive undertaking. I am so glad that I was able to find a company to actually do the transcriptions for the album chats.
Yeah.
Because I did not want to have to sit down and transcribe anything or pay anybody to really do it. So to know that there was a system out there where I could actually, take those audio files, and I still have to go in and make edits because sometimes they'll put Prince as Prints, and I have to change it over to Prince. So sometimes there's things like that I have to go in and alter, but it's definitely a vast, vast difference than having to go in and make a bunch of different alterations, or especially having to transcribe it myself. Pass. Rather not do that. All right, so actually we're coming up on your favorite song. After Hot Thing, they're going to break into Crystal Ball. So,
that's my favorite song?
Yeah, and I'm actually...
Yeah. Okay, good to know.
You said it was your favorite song on the album. That's I can rewind the audio. I'm pretty sure that's what you said.
Did I say that?
You're
That
like,
doesn't
oh,
sound
that's my
like me.
favorite song.
I think I was talking about Rebirth of the Flesh.
I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll have to rely on my chatsters here.
Whatever. I don't even care anymore.
I know. Who would? So I had the choice between two
I
different.
finally found it. That's what I was looking for.
I had the choice between two different versions of Crystal Ball. I actually have like 4 different versions of Crystal Ball, 5 if you include the 7-inch one. But
I think I remember that.
There was an 11 and a half minute version of the song that has the section where I think it's Susanna Melvoin, and she says she goes, I don't remember what the exact word is, like brothers and sisters of the underground, everything goes black type thing. That version, that section is not in the configuration for Crystal Ball. This version, this configuration, but I put it in there anyways. So because I like that version a lot better. It's got an extra 30 seconds of weirdness, which I really, really like. So I just decided this worked better for me. So, anyways, this is what? No, go ahead.
No, there'll be plenty of time. It's a 10-minute long song. You go ahead.
It is. It's actually 11 minutes and 6 seconds long.
Oh, because you got the extended version, right?
I put, yeah. Well, it's extended version being 36 seconds longer than the original. So this one's definitely a little bit different of a version. It's not. It's definitely a more raw version, and it's the version that I got used to hearing on that original configuration that I had on cassette that I would listen to all the time, and I just couldn't get enough of it, man. I don't know what it was. It's so bizarre. I mean, I always like that weird type of. That's the reason why I like bands like Yellow and XTC and The Fix and those bands that were able to create that oral landscape that was just just took you someplace. Peter Gabriel.
Oral landscape, I love it.
Peter Gabriel, Shock the Monkey. I mean, that whole Security album was amazing. So, I love that vibe. But so this Crystal Ball was a culmination of that vibe, along with these occasional moments of funky. I was just like, yes, this is like a perfect mixture of amazingness. And I would just listen to the song over and over and over again. I remember walking down the street in Stone Mountain and just dancing to this song. And it's just, I mean, everybody's like, it's just such an incredible tune. As far as the information on this song, this is obviously the title track of the album, and a strange one at that. Like the album Come, he opens this album with this very long title track of where it was originally on the 1998 one. This one, this is technically side 4, I think, side 3 or side 4 of this album. So it's kind of weird, the placement of it. But to have a song that's this long, it was only supposed to be 10 minutes and 22 seconds. I've used the 11-minute configuration, so that makes it even freaking longer. But the album did not distinguish between the tracks as far as which ones were written by Prince and which ones were made by The Symbol when it came out in 1998. Anyways, this song is sung by Prince's alter ego, Camille. And I don't ever think that when Camille announcing his alter ego as Camille, I don't ever think that I ever thought of it just being, I just always just thought Prince. I just thought he just liked to do this effect on his voice. I didn't really think of it being an effeminate delivery. I didn't think of any of that stuff. I never really separated it and goes, oh, he's using that Camille voice. It's just Prince.
Yeah, I never thought about that either. It just seemed like, what's that?
in the moment at the time. It was like when this song came out, I wasn't thinking, oh, he's doing that Camille voice again. I was just like, this is Prince.
But he always did different voices for different songs, and every single album, especially in that period, there was a different look for him. So, what did I say? What did I do?
You said Crystal Ball was your favorite.
Oh, did I? Oh, okay, I lied. I meant Rebirth of the Flesh. Although I love this song, but Rebirth of the Flesh is really what I was trying to say.
I love you, Cammy. All right, guys.
Thanks, Cammy. You're always there to prove me wrong. I appreciate it. That to me, it was just like, well, every time he made an album, it was like he was somebody totally different. It was a totally new thing, but it was still Prince, which is, again, the amazing thing about Prince, and what I always love about Prince is that he does stuff that's so much different than what he did before, but it's still him. And I don't know how you do that. Honestly, bands, artists have been trying to do that kind of thing for years, from what I can tell, and very few of them accomplish it. Prince did it. Joni Mitchell could do it. Zeppelin could do it, but Beatles could do it.
Yeah, I think
I can't really think of anybody else.
Well, he knew.
Maybe Beyonce.
Well,
I don't know.
He knew the song was weird out of the gate. I mean, and not even talking about just the alter ego part of it. He knew that the song was weird out of the gate. He knew that the whole nuclear war thing, the whole weird kind of vibey thing that he had going on with Crystal Ball, that was going to be something that was ran the potential of not being well received. The whole weird, we're going to die vibes and all the, I don't know, I better ask my mommy first. And all this weird stuff that he had going on.
So what the hell is that? This is the thing for me, and I apologize because I haven't listened to you talk about this song before. But the thing for me was, like, the whole time I was like, what the fuck is a crystal ball? I mean, I need to learn how to do this, clearly, because it sounded like it sounds like some kind of sexual technique. And I was like, how do you do a crystal ball? Because he starts out saying, expert lover, I ever had a crystal ball. And I'm like, no. How do you do it?
I never thought of it.
I never thought of it. Really helped me out in the sack.
I've always thought of it just as a crystal ball. I never read into it like you just read into it.
How? That's what he says.
I know, but yeah, my thought was: have you ever had a crystal ball? Have you ever been able to stop and look into the future? That's what I was. If you had expert, if you're such an expert lover, have you ever had a crystal ball that you were able to look into the future and see? That's how I process the lyrics. You were processing it totally different. You were breaking up the meaning of it into pieces. It was just like
he's talking about sex several times. He's like, soldiers are drawing swords of sorrow. His baby is drawing pictures of sex. All the walls in graphic detail. Sex. I mean, she says it constantly.
No, we talk about that. Lyrically, the song has stark contrast about where he talks about dark things and then switches over to the sexual love content. And here's his example. As bombs explode around us and hate advances on the right, the only thing that matters, baby, is the love that we make tonight.
See?
As little babies in makeup terrorize the Western world, the only thing that matters, baby, is love between a boy and girl. Yeah. And just like the lyric you just read, as soldiers draw swords of sorrow, my baby draws pictures of sex all over the wall in graphic detail. Sex. Susanna Melvoin talks about that a little bit.
My baby, kiss me, lick me, trick me. Whoa!
Anyways, but at that point you're just like, screw it, let's dance.
Right?
We're all gonna die. Woo, woo.
My baby's licking me fast. Hey, mama, watch your gas. Come on, baby, do me fast.
All right, okay. So Susanna Melvoin said
we should have included this song in that other one that we did. We've got 10 minutes. What are you talking about? Don't slow me down.
Actually, we got 3 minutes.
Okay. Really? We've been talking about this song?
Yes, we've been talking about this for 8 minutes so far.
Okay.
Susanna Melvoin said, I've always wanted to be a wannabe artist. Anyway, when I first met Prince, I was at the studio a lot during the Purple Rain recordings, and it was a sequencing of Purple Rain. And she said he had all of her art supplies with her, and she said, I don't know. She said, but the box that the master was sitting in, I put it on my lap, and it's so funny. I think it's in the vault. I drew all over it. I drew all these weird, cool things on it, and then he started drawing on it. But it's sort of my art style. And then we're kind of skipping down to where she talks about where she's drawing on the wall. But apparently, at some point in time, she actually started drawing. She drew this pretty graphic scene of sex on the wall, and that's where that mural, it was this huge mural that she had drawn, and I think part of it was the cover for Dream Factory too. I think so. There was like a bunch of other things that were going on there that he's referring to in this, but. Inside of the Crystal Ball CD liner notes, it says the song Crystal Ball was written in a deep blue funk, one word, depression, as Prince pondered his future in the music business that had become more business than music. His only solace during that time was his continuing search for a soulmate. Anyways, he's always made reference to all different types of things. You know, we've heard him talk about the AIDS epidemic and bombings in Libya and all that stuff, but anyways, it's Prince on all vocals on this song. I can't believe we only got a minute and 25 seconds left.
But I remember one of the best parts of the song. I remember one of the parts of the song that we both really liked. You pointed it out to me how hot it was about the part where she's saying, "Dear Jesus, save us from temptation."
Yeah.
Dear Jesus, save us from hell.
Save us from the madness.
Can you hear? It's hard to tell. In your name we pray. Yeah, I mean,
it's just the weirdest things that he was able to say is like, okay, I'm going to make this super funky that you have no opportunity but to dance for this part, but I'm going to make it weird for you.
And I'm going to tell you when to dance. It's like.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so the song ends in 25 seconds. I can't believe we've already been through 11 minutes of this. But this is one edit that I did do. It's about to go into If I Was Your Girlfriend. And I had to take out the wedding march part of it because that was not in the original one. So let's see how this sounds. I'm interested to see how this sounds. Let's check this out. Okay, that's interesting. So what's interesting is on this particular this is actually interesting album side, actually, technically, and I'll have to look to see which album side this is, but on this album side on vinyl, it's Crystal Ball, If I Was Your Girlfriend, and Rock Hard in a Funky Place. That's a side. That's if I have to pick a side of an album, I'm like, we're done here. This is it right here.
Yeah.
This is it right here. If I Was Your Girlfriend, the first time I heard this song, I was always weirded out by it because I didn't listen to it, and because I was just a really shallow listener at the time when this first came out. And the only thing I could get my head around
in so many ways back then.
I was so shallow. I was a horrible person. I really was. I didn't listen to people. I was not empathetic to people. I was such an asshole on so many fucking levels. I can't even, I feel so horrible, and my apologies to you. I'm not even drinking. I know I was a horrible individual, and you still loved me through all of it. Anyways, let's talk about If I Was Your Girlfriend, shall we? Second track on the second disc from Sign of the Times. Just trying to get some of the basic stuff here. It's just, I don't really want to talk about it. Most people, it was originally going to be released as a single, but they decided against it. Now, hold on, time out. It was actually released as a single. Matter of fact, I have that single over here. And
I'm showing it now.
and on the flip side of it was Shockadelica, but for some reason or another, I guess it wasn't pushed to the radio. And I think there was something about the fact that people weren't going to be the regular top 40 audience was not going to be intelligent enough to be able to kind of understand the snarkiness of the song, that he's not singing to a boy about wanting to be his girlfriend. There's nothing about that at all. It's you have to listen to the lyrics, and you have to this song lyrically, to me, it kind of rides up there with Ballad of Dorothy Parker, but this song lyrically is one of the most brilliantly written and amazingly intelligent songs. The way that it's structured and the way that it's masterful. It literally is masterful the way that it was done. And it's Prince on everything too. The last time this song was played, this is one of the few songs, not few songs, it's actually, about 15 of them or so, that he played on the very, very last concert on April 14th, 2016 at the Fox Theater in Atlanta, Georgia. So this song was just so incredible. But at the time, I loved the feel of the song. I liked the vibe of the song, but I was uncomfortable because I was one of those top 40 shallow listeners. I wasn't listening to the meaning of the song and actually what he was saying. I was so wrapped up into, the potential bisexual vibe that I may be giving off if I sing this song out in public, type of thing. Again, horrible person. I get it.
That's funny because, well, you know me. I've always paid attention to the lyrics and stuff, and to me, it was more about just having a really deep relationship, which I believe is exactly
what it's
about.
I mean, that's exactly what the song is about. But I wasn't listening to it that way.
It's dissolving all of those things that we bring, all those games that we play,
right.
And saying, "This is me, this is you. We're just going to have a human-to-human relationship." And you're right. That's one of the things that's great about this song. It is a beautiful song. Might be one of the better love songs out ever.
Yeah, it's just so well done, and so it's perfectly crafted. It's just one of the songs. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah. I'm with you, man. I agree.
Great tune. One of my all-time favorite songs of his of all time. Ballad of Dorothy Parker is probably right up there. If I had to pick a song that is one of my all-time favorites, Ballad of Dorothy Parker is probably gotta hold that top billing. But
actually, I think one of my favorite songs. Well, of course, Rebirth of the Flesh. Apparently, Crystal Ball. But I think we're coming up on one of my favorite songs pretty soon.
And of course, this is going into Rock Hard in a Funky Place now, which was on the Black Album. This is one of the ones that was not on Sign of the Times. I've had to repeatedly say that over and over again. That this was, so much of this album is Sign of the Times, but this is where we get into the section that is not Sign of the Times, because you got Rock Hard in a Funky Place, and then you've got The Ball, and then you've got Joy and Repetition, and so you've got some songs in here that are not part of the Sign of the Times now. Now you're kind of going outside of this configuration. This song was recorded October 28th, 1986 at Sunset Sound in Hollywood, California. The same day he actually recorded Fill You Up and Rebirth of the Flesh and also Good Love. And of course, the horn arrangement Hook was written by Eric Leeds, who again lucked out that Prince did not play horns, but he was actually working on a song. Eric was working on a song called Pacemaker that was inspired by Eric Dolphy's work. And Eric Leeds was saying about Eric Dolphy, he was saying this cat was really out there. He was an early influence on me. So I said, okay, I'm going to try to be Eric Dolphy for a minute. It was very angular and almost mathematical. You can hear it. So you've got that weird kind of staggered thing. It was he said it's very angular, almost a mathematical kind of thing. And for every time the line went up, I wanted to turn it around and have it come down in a similar fashion, interval-wise. The pacemaker part was often played live as a horn interpolation in the song I Could Never Take the Place of Your Man. And Prince said, Eric said, it's just a melody of a song of mine called Pacemaker. Prince wanted this line for Rock Hard in a Funky Place, and I think I had it half done. And he wanted something that was really out there, so I kind of completed the line just for this particular song. A slightly different and faster version of this horn arrangement was also included in It's Gonna Be a Beautiful Night that you can hear if you listen really closely. And he also played it on Housequake on the Lovesexy tour, and which was cued by Prince shouting "Kick some ass," and then went into the hook for Pacemaker, which is on his second solo album. But Eric was not satisfied with the final result and was going to include it on the album called Things Left Unsaid, but it didn't end up on there. Again, the song ended up ultimately here on the Black Album, and which obviously is, at that time, was an album that got canned. And, well, it was actually created and actually sent out for distribution. 500,000 copies went out, and they were all destroyed, burned, landfilled, whatever, and maybe next to the E.T. video games
right.
for Atari. I don't know. I don't know. It's but it's like this. They were all destroyed. Well, they ended up in bootleg world. Obviously, Prince on all vocals and instruments. Eric leads on saxophone and flute, uncredited. Atlanta Bliss is playing trumpet on here, uncredited. Susanna Melvoin and Jill Jones are doing background vocals. They're also uncredited. First time this song was played was May 1987, with an interpolation of "I Could Never Take the Place of Your Man," and then the last time it was played was November 27th, 1993, at Paisley Park Studios in Chanhassen. So this song has kind of had a little bit of a life of its own as well. And now we're actually about to flip over to this was side 3. And so we're actually about to have to go over into the, we're going to have to go over to the record player at this point, take off this disc. And now we're actually going to flip it over, side 4. It's a second vinyl. We're going to flip it over now to side 4. Obviously we're doing a little bit of we got to do this little configuration announcement here for all these people that are joining us on Funked Up that want to that came in the middle of all this. And the opening track to side 4 is a song called "The Ball," which we're about to break into, which got a 2020 remaster, which is the one that I chose for this configuration because the timing of it matched the closest to the one that was on the original configuration. So this is "The Ball," originally recorded by Prince on July 25th, 1986 at the Galpin Boulevard home studio. And that party segue that you're hearing was likely recorded during the rehearsals of the Washington Avenue Warehouse in Edina, Minnesota. Again, this was on the Crystal Ball thing. Funny, there's a little funny rabbit hole that we'll talk about here with Joy and Repetition, but we'll break into that a little bit later because I don't want to break into that too much about. I don't know why that segment's in there, but anyways, as far as "The Ball" is concerned, Levi Caesar said, I think he was involved in this whole process. Let me look to see who all was in this lineup here. The original lineup here is Prince on all vocals and instruments, Susanna Melvoin on background vocals, Eric leads on sax and spoken voice, Atlanta Bliss on trumpet, Wally Safford. Wally, where'd you get those glasses? Safford, Greg Brooks, and Jerome Benton are all doing the party segue. That party segue that you're kind of hearing has been used many, many times. It was used on the Lovesexy album a few different times. All the stuff that you hear, the weirdness that you hear, was actually turned into the song "I Know." So this song, before it was called "The Ball," well, actually after it was called "The Ball," they picked up huge pieces of this and turned it into "I Know," that ended up on Lovesexy. So very interesting, some of the weirdness that's kind of going on here with this song. There was, I wanted to pull this one part. There's one story about Joy and Repetition and Levi Caesar that I was going to break into, but it more fits the Joy and Repetition songs that's coming up. So I want to save that story for there. It makes more sense in the scheme of things than it does here. Anyways. It's also that same party stuff that you hear at the beginning of Alphabet Street too. That I got more holes in a golf course, all that stuff. So there's a lot of weirdness in there as well. Are you folks in YouTube land? Are you guys all doing all right? You guys are doing okay? The last message I saw, I just wanted to just check in, make sure Cammie, Trisha, April, Laughing my ass off, Foodie Roll, Ladelma, all you folks that are in here, Nephilia Noir. I see all you folks in here. Brian, you guys all still hanging tight. You guys still doing good. I'm looking online to see the people on Funked Up to see how many people are listening. There's tons of people listening online. So I'm glad that there's people actually in here that are checking all this all out. That's really good stuff. Okay, that's good. Yeah, so this is going to actually take us to the 11 o'clock hour as far as this all. Yeah, Grad, good. I saw people are listening via Funkatopia and also on YouTube as well. So, yeah, this album goes on. This album keeps on going on too. There's so much more information as well. This is actually really, really good stuff. It's just so much. Yes, Branham, thank you guys for checking in. I just want to make sure everybody's still good. Sloople, is that how you pronounce the name? Sloople? Doing good. Cena says doing all right. Thanks for asking. Everybody's good. Everybody's got thumbs up. We're all good. Listen, Crystal Bell is saying I am listening to the radio station in the background. Awesome. April, thank you, Branham. How many of you guys are listening to the radio station and listening to both? You kind of got the radio station when you want to tune me out. You kind of pull me down. Is there like how much of that is going on? Because I'm curious. I imagine there's quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and take the scroller off for the support Funkatopia thing. Hopefully you guys, yeah, it's all fine and dandy, but I expect more from you folks. Most of you fine folks are already supporting us, which is amazing. It's 13 seconds. We're going into join repetition right now. Here we go. Jeez Louise. I feel like I've been talking the whole friggin' time. I'm going to be like,
You have.
I know I have. I told you I was going to be talking a lot.
That's fine.
So there's joy in repetition. The transition from the ball to joy in repetition was not very smooth, obviously. I'm sure there was different types of segues and different things that they had going on. Also, joy in repetition had a little bit of a different of recording process when it was pulled onto Graffiti Bridge because Joy in Repetition, wasn't it after Alphabet Street? Not Alphabet Street. What was Joy in Repetition after? You'll have to look up. Somebody look up the Graffiti Bridge soundtrack and what preceded Joy in Repetition. Anyways, there is a lot of stuff going on with. They're talking on the song. They're actually talking about the band on the stage playing a song called Soul Psychedelicide. And of course it talks about a woman that's on the stage and she's kind of leading the band and Soul Psychedelicide. And she's saying two words over and over again, which are love me. And it is it Weekend Funk? I'm like still reeling in my head trying to remember what precedes Joy in Repetition. Is it Weekend Funk? Maybe it is Weekend Funk.
It is Weekend Funk. You're right.
Yeah. So obviously when you got the loud brashness of Weekend Funk going into Joy in Repetition, it's quite a little bit different than Coming Out of the Ball, which is also kind of a little bit of a brash song. But obviously the segues would probably been a lot cleaner in that. But anyways, you will recognize all that same chatter and stuff. Squirrel Meat, all that stuff from Alphabet Street, and also, it kind of finds that particular whole entire crowd segue finds its way into a lot of different songs, which the sharper ears will hear, and some of us won't. But funny rabbit hole about Joy in Repetition that I was going to share before is when Lisa Coleman saw the title of the song Joy in Repetition, she laughed before she had heard the song and said, and I'm paraphrasing, but she was like, I laughed out loud. This is what we do all the time. We'll just play the same song and melody over and over and over and over again. We play the same song for hours. But Prince was all about hard work. And that's the only reason why he was so amazing in concert was because of all that practice. You weren't just, doing things. There were some things that happened a lot on the fly, especially on after parties and stuff. But Levi Ceesay found that out the hard way. Levi made the mistake of one day saying good luck to Prince, which he didn't realize was a pet peeve of Prince's. Levi said, I think we were about 2 weeks in and we're all backstage and it was an outside show. It was a little cool that night. So we're all blowing on our hands, trying to stay warm. And then Prince walks by and I say, hey, good luck tonight. And he stopped in his tracks and he said to me, he gave me the meanest look I'd ever seen. He said, don't ever say good luck. I'm like, hey man, I'm sorry. I didn't. He said, no, let me explain. What we do isn't about luck. He said, did you guys have a hard 3 months trying to learn this show? Didn't I put you through the ringer? And I said, you sure did. Oh my God. He said, so it's not about luck. We're ready. We're soldiers. You guys are well trained. Even on a bad night, we're going to have a good show. That's why I rehearse you like that. So don't ever say it's luck, because if you're going on luck, then the show's going to suck. If you go on the fact that you worked hard, you're always going to have a good show.
Yeah.
So there you go. What you're hearing here obviously is Prince on all the instruments, everything you hear, which is still always staggering to me. You hear all these different levels of everything, all this instrumentation and whatnot, and know that it's all Prince. And Susanna Melvoin on the background vocals too. He also played this song for the final time on the first show at Fox Theater in Atlanta, Georgia on April 14th, 2016, not the second show. So it was part of that mix at least. What follows after Joy and Repetition is Strange Relationship, obviously. There's some really, really cool shots. That's from the Prince Piano and a Microphone era. Almost Third Eye Girl. Wait till you see this.
Sorry. Where the hell that came from?
Yeah, this hat I actually got off of eBay that I'm wearing here. Very, very
That's
cool.
a cool hat.
I like it. I like it a lot. And then
yeah, that image up there, that's the image that Tidal put on this Joy and Repetition when they first released it on Tidal.
no, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for actually taking care of some of the image stuff here. This is why it's kind of like having a second producer in the house along with Cami. Cammy's my honorary producer, and I want to thank everybody here for joining us and sitting here and watching us talk for like all this time too. I want to let you know, I want to talk a little bit about Strange Relationship because there's actually quite a bit of information here, but I don't know. I really want to talk too much about it, but
well, you just said you wanted to talk about it. Now you don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it because I have.
Make up your mind.
Okay, let me go ahead and talk about it.
No wonder.
No, I don't want to.
No wonder you're having such a strange relationship.
Strange Relationship is basically a song about it's a song about vanity. Apparently, there was a period of time where Jill Jones had said to Dwayne Tudall that Vanity received a tape of the song and was not really too thrilled to hear about it. She said she had her little beatbox in her cassettes and it wasn't discreet. It was a strange relationship. She started dating other people and he got pissed. So she was getting something. And that was the only thing he had to yank her back in was just the music. So every time he felt some sort of way, he would make a song that would kind of express his feelings, whether hurtful or not, and then give it to her or give it to whoever it was. And that's how he would get back or, kind of take his swipes because it's kind of hard. How are you going to respond to somebody who writes a song? You'd be like, CJ, that reporter in Minnesota that had the song Billy Jack Bitch written about. How do you respond to that? It's like, well, fine, I'll write you a song. Here we go. That's not how it works, Anyways, this song is this is a Camille song. I never really thought of this as a Camille song because even though he is singing in that Camille voice, it doesn't have that. Whenever I think of Camille, once I started thinking of Camille, actively thinking of Camille, like we were talking about earlier, I always thought of Camille as a little bit more frenetic, like Black Album, that kind of, really kind of attacky voice, kind of silly party vibe type of thing. With the exception of, If I Was Your Girlfriend and things like that. But I never really attributed this song to a Camille voice, but I guess technically it is. But it's Wendy Melvoin doing tambourine and congas and Lisa Coleman on the sitar that weird that you hear, and wooden flute, both of which she wasn't actually playing the sitar or the wooden flute. She was doing it from the Fairlight synthesizer. So, and of course, obviously, it's Prince on everything else. Gosh, I can't remember what rabbit hole I was going to go down before I remember what I was about to say. I was about to go down a rabbit hole, and I felt like, oh, I know what it was. I was talking about how excited I am about the fact that all of you guys join us for these long hauls on these shows. But I want to, you guys are going to love the changes that I'm going to be making on the YouTube channel. Just so we're clear, I'm going to be taking bits of the shows, and I'm going to be breaking up the shows, especially the interviews where we're going to be talking about certain things, and they're all going to have like, they'll be like 5-minute bits as opposed to these 3-hour chunks. So I'm really excited, but it's, again, I've got so many things that I'm actually surprised that I was able to get princecelebration.com up and running. You can either get to it from princecelebration.com or celebrationtrip.com, both of which I own. And you can go there, and if you go to Minneapolis, and you can see all the really cool, Prince related stops. I mean, from the murals, the places that have murals on the wall, to obviously to Paisley Park, to the tunnels, to all these. I mean, there's so many things that are on Prince Celebration. It's so friggin' cool. And it took me a lot of work to get that site up and running, but it's also going to have the shows once the shows start coming back in, and because you'll be able to go into Minneapolis and you'll be able to see, especially during the celebration, you'll be going, oh, Jesse Johnson's playing up here, or Eric Leeds and playing with LP up there, and Michelle and Diggett. You'll be able to. It's literally going to be a great tool for you when you go to Minneapolis, and I was excited to get that done. So for me to also do this and break up all these things with YouTube, and also do this album chat website, it's a lot of work. But obviously the primary reason for it is for the monetization of a lot of things. It's just trying to create something that's going to be very, very useful to you guys, and at the same time actually be able to kind of generate a little bit more income so that we can do more for you guys. And right now, I think you kind of get capped out with the membership and with people on Patreon. I can't remember the last time we had a new person join Patreon. It's been a long time. I think we had somebody drop off of Patreon a couple of months ago, but people are just dropping off. And it's, even though I'm like pumping new material out to Patreon, I'm doing, pumping up files and everything. I'm trying to create things that are going to be really, really actively useful to people. And it's a hell of an undertaking. It's just, so all these things that I want to do just take a lot of time and a lot of effort. And I wanted to take an opportunity to thank you guys for sticking out and doing all this stuff. And it is what it is. Elrod said, do you post the Tuesday night shows to YouTube? I was looking for last week's show. I missed part of it. That one, I think YouTube actually pulled because of that freaking Hiatus Coyote song, which is insane. But we played a clip of Hiatus Coyote songs Breathing Underwater because Rob had never heard it. And that just shocked me that he had never heard it. So I played a clip of it. And then the next thing I know, they yanked the whole entire 3-hour video for a little 15-second clip where we actually, it was a nightmare. It was so stupid. So I'm going to have to re-edit that video and put it back up. But whatever you missed, we'll put it back up. Thank you guys so much. Cena, I appreciate the comments. Thank you so much. And also Trisha, thank you so much. I appreciate it. There's a lot. There's more coming, very much so. Right now we're listening to I Can Never Take the Place of Your Man. And this one, the fact that this was recorded originally in 1979 is still a shocker to me. This song was going to be on this album, this Crystal Ball configuration from 1986, and didn't end up until Sign of the Times. But this song has been around since 1979. He sat on this song for 7 years before it saw the light of day, which that doesn't really surprise me considering all the songs that are in the vault. But the version of the song, this there's a lot of different things going on. There's so many different versions on here. It's just from one thing to another. The liner notes for Sign of the Times Super Deluxe actually has these lyrics handwritten on a white album sleeve. So it's like, those white, when you pull an album out of the sleeve and it's got like that white album sleeve that you also pull it out of, but you can see the label through it. He actually wrote the lyrics all around on this album sleeve. That's actually a picture of in there, which is really, really cool. It was a single off of the Sign of the Times album. This was, and it had Hot Thing on the B-side. There's been a lot of people that have also covered this song, including Jordan Knight for the Backstreet Boys, which had Robin Thicke on background vocals, by the way. The Goo Goo Dolls, My Morning Jacket. So there's been a lot of bands that have covered this particular song. We're talking about I Could Never Take the Place of Your Man. And it's basically a song about a woman who has been dumped by a man who is looking for someone to take his place. And of course, Prince tells her that he may be qualified for a one-night stand, but he can never take the place of her man. Now, many people miss the part of the story, and I think this is interesting. Many people miss the part of the story that the woman is also pregnant, by the way. So this woman is, this is a pregnant woman that is making her case to Prince, because you missed that point in the song, because remember, he left her with a baby and another one on the way. So a lot of people miss that lyric, that this woman is standing in front of Prince asking, to for a little bit of action, and she's pregnant. She's like, hey, people just miss that part. That's one of the things that immediately stood out to me. I was like, wow, okay, there we go. Prince on all, it's a wild world out there. Prince on all vocals and instruments on both of the versions. This one, the Super Deluxe one. First time this song was played was May 1987 in Stockholm, Sweden, and the last time was that first show at the Fox Theater in Atlanta, Georgia, on that last night, April 14th, 2016. I cannot believe we are coming up on 5 years. I still remember the night that he passed. The night that he passed, I was I played the entire concert from Atlanta, his final concert that night. If it was that night or the night after. And I remember I had to get approval from the radio station people that stream, because there were hundreds of people from all over the world that were all tuned in that night, because Funked Up wasn't really that big at that point, but there were still hundreds of people 5 years ago that were all listening to Prince's final concert. And I sat in my bed in the dark listening to that, and I just lost it. That's when I lost it. I literally could not hold it together. That was a really, really tough night. So it's shocking to me that we are coming up on the 5-year anniversary of that final show. I just can't even process. I mean, it's just insane. Anyways, we are on side 5 now. So we're on a new album, this is the last vinyl. So we're on side 5, and then we'll flip it over to side 6, and then we'll be done. This is the beginning of side 5, which was the full length 12-inch version for Shockadelica, which was the B-side to If I Was Your Girlfriend. I remember exactly where I was. I was in Jersey. I know exactly where I was. Do you remember where you were when Shockadelica came out?
I was not in Jersey.
No, you weren't in Jersey. I'm pretty sure you were in Atlanta. Anyways, Prince
I think actually I went to the store and bought it. I think, or I had heard it because I don't know.
I caught all kinds of hell from my uncle Ralph, because I was working with him in Jersey at his maintenance facility. Which would not maintenance facility. He went and he had like a cleaning service where you would go into a hotel and you would clean all the windows and the bathrooms and everything. It was like a cleaning service. And that's what I did. And every single bit of money that I made I would either waste on girls and music. That was it. That was just, and so I was like, and he had a come to Jesus moment where he showed me what I had made over the summer. And it wasn't a whole bunch. It was like what I made like over a period of like a month and a half or like almost. And he says, you've made over $1,000 and you have nothing to show for it other than this music. It was just like, I know, I'm so horrible. But this is what it is. Anyways, as far as the song Shockadelica, it was the extended version of this song, this 12-inch version that was on the original configuration here. But it was Prince was inspired by the title of Jesse Johnson's album Shockadelica. He felt that he heard that Jesse Johnson was making this album called Shockadelica, and he was like, man, that's awesome. He says, every great album title deserves a great title track. And according to Jesse, Shockadelica was about to be released, but Jesse Johnson's song "Crazy" with Sly Stone was all over the radar. Was a big hit because it was a little bit of a pre-release for that. But Prince went to Jesse, called Jesse on the phone, and Jesse tells the story at Bunkers. He was playing a show in Bunkers, and he told the story. He said, Prince called me up and said, hey, I've got this song that I've written for your album Shockadelica, and I want you to have it. And Jesse was like, no, I'm cool. I don't need it. I don't need your music. And he was like, okay, well, I really want you to have it. I think that it's a great album title, and this song is great. I think you should have it. And he goes, I don't want it. He goes, I don't want your music. This is my album. This is my song. I mean, this is my album. I don't want it. And he's like, would you have a song called Shockadelic? And he's like, no, I don't, but I don't want one. I don't want stuff. And Prince said, well, if you don't take it, I'm going to release it anyways. And then people will think that you named this album Shockadelic because of my song. And Jesse's like, whatever, I don't care. And so that's exactly what happened, is that Prince released Shockadelica, and then Jesse Johnson's album Shockadelica came out, and everybody immediately put the two together and was like, oh, well, Prince must have wrote another song for Jesse Johnson. And Jesse was kind of like, he was annoyed by the whole process of everything, but it was just really just funny how that all played out, and that the two songs had nothing to do with each other other than the fact that Prince was inspired by the title of Jesse Johnson's album and wanted to offer him a song, which was actually, it's a pretty nice offering, but Jesse was just kind of over the whole Prince thing. He was like, this is my solo stuff. I'm kind of tired of it. I've been having to deal with this the whole time I've been with The Time. And, you are all over those albums. This is my album. This is my stuff. I don't want you on this. Just go away. And Prince was like, fine, I'm going to do it anyways, which I think is funny. And realistically, I actually did think that I even though I wasn't part of the whole, rigmarole and knew all the stories, I knew that was my initial thought, was that Prince had something to do with either the naming of Jesse Johnson's album or that he was involved in writing some of it. That was my immediate assumption just based on that. And I just think that's funny. Anyways, again, Jesse just wanted to do his own thing. And he's been escaping Prince's ire for a long time. So you saw it coming. Anyways, this is all it's all Prince. The whole entire album is the whole entire song is Prince. We're going into the song called Good Love on this configuration, which was a track for the Bright Lights Big City soundtrack, which was for the movie starring Michael J. Fox. And I think it was about a cocaine addict or some, it was like a person from the 80s, a guy kind of like a yuppie type of scenario, which he kind of fit into really well coming in off of Family Ties. And he was like, I don't even remember the movie. I honestly vaguely don't even remember the movie
either. I remember I bought the album because I was like, well, Prince's song is on it. And then I was disappointed.
There's not many songs. I mean, besides Purple Rain, there's not, and there's not many songs that Prince's songs Say Anything was I'll Do Anything or whatever was good. Girl 6 was horrible. I'm trying to think of songs that he's had, movies that he's had songs on the soundtrack that were actually really good.
I found it.
Yeah, I vaguely remember this movie. That's it.
Yeah.
It was recorded October 30th, 1986 at Sunset Sound in Hollywood, California. And of course, it ends up here. It's Prince on all vocals and instruments, and then there's backing vocals by Jill Jones and Susanna Melvoin, who are uncredited on here. Branham says, if I Was Your Girlfriend, Chocodelic, a cassette tape single right here. I bought it at Street Side Records, 1987. That's awesome. He also said, I bought the soundtrack for the Bright Lights Big City soundtrack only because of Good Love. Yeah, I think a lot of us, I would have bought the Girl 6 soundtrack, but I was just like, I have all this. I was like looking at the back of the cover and I was like, I have all this.
So here's some interesting other songs that are on there. True Faith by New Order. That's all right. Brian Ferry's on there. Kiss and Tell. Depeche Mode has a song called Pleasure Little Treasure, which I think was an okay song. Donald Fagen has a song on there called Century's End, which I don't remember.
I love Donald Fagen too. I have all of Donald Fagen's albums over here, and I don't know that song.
Yeah, I love Donald Fagen too.
Who doesn't like Donald Fagen? Friggin' Steely Dan.
Steely
Come
Dan.
on.
Yep.
Steely Dan
and Pump Up the Volume is on there.
Dance. Pump up the volume, pump up the volume, pump up the volume. Dance. Man, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Not really interesting, just kind of interesting.
Kind of interesting. Is anybody here intrigued to see that movie now? Brandon says, even though I was 15, I remember this fact. The movie sucked so hard.
It did. I believe I remember that too. And I think you're right. It was like this kid trying to make it big as a yuppie and getting into cocaine and stuff. It was dumb.
I think
Rob's 2-second review. It was dumb.
Yes, there you go. I loved Happy Feet. That was a great movie. I was trying to think of more movies that have songs have been on. Happy Feet was a great movie. I loved
Happy Feet was great. I agree.
Happy Feet.
You've got Bright Lights Big City. Happy Feet.
Quite a disparity between the two quality levels of movie.
Let's see.
Oh my God.
IMDb gives it 5.7, which I still think is a little too high.
For Bright Lights Big City?
Yeah.
Well, also if you're dealing with adult content and you see it as a 15-year-old, you're like, this is horrible. So I don't know.
I think I wanted to watch it because Phoebe Cates was in it, and I used to be in love with Phoebe Cates, and I don't think even she could make that movie good. So, not that she was in a lot of good movies, but she was in Gremlins. For those of you who don't remember,
yes, so many amazing. Have you been watching Have you been watching Cobra Kai?
Dude, I got to tell you,
I'm just curious if you've been watching Cobra Kai.
I have, and I got to say that I love the idea of. I love the idea of that guy being like so clueless and so stuck in the 80s that he's just like it's like he was in a coma for like. I'm
not caught up all the way yet.
40 years.
I'm like, have you?
I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. If you've seen the first episode, you already know this.
No, there's apparently his love interest from the 80s, Allie from the 80s, is coming back on the show. Or she's already made an appearance on the show. I have not seen it yet, but I'm I'm like really interested in seeing that.
I'm caught up, and it's pretty good.
Okay, good. I'm looking forward to that. Ladelma says, tried watching Bright Lights Big City for the Prince song, had to keep changing channels. So all these people that like Cammie saying, like Jeremy saying, watching it tomorrow.
All right,
you
good
might,
luck.
you might want to save your time.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going into Forever in My Life.
Oh,
This song is already on here. It's already going. Thanks to the Funked Up people. This song was a mistake. Actually, when he made it, once again, proving that when Prince makes a mistake, he just kind of runs with it. And it's the story of Susan Rogers when they were going into the studio to record this song, and she started the tape in the wrong spot. And when Prince started singing the song, the previously recorded session started playing in between the verses that he was singing. And so that's the reason for that staggered vocal. And Susan freaked out because she thought, oh no, Prince is going to kill me. But Prince loved it, and it stayed as we know it on this original version. It sounds like it's intentional background vocals, which some parts of it are, but there are the staggered thing that he has, which was supposed to be layered over what he's doing, but it ended up being a contrast, which is actually very, very cool. This song was a big hit in Europe, and they would actually flick their lighters and wave them in the air. And that's when you watch the Sign of the Time movie, you can actually, that's actually in there when it goes dun, 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 dun.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
flicking the lighter. That's something that people in Europe started to do, and he kept it in there. Cat Glover said, Europeans show so much love because they do chant the things that Prince asked them to chant. They sing, they light their lighters a lot more. They're just so appreciative. And when Prince was asked, what was your inspiration for the song Forever in My Life? Prince said, Susanna, she knows. Obviously referring to Susanna Melvoin, to whom he was engaged. And they said that one of the unusual things about this version of the track was that Prince actually allowed Susan Rogers to stay in the studio when he recorded, which makes it even more personal because it was more of a declaration of his love for Susanna. Because normally when he started recording vocals, he wanted everybody out. He does not like to sing in a studio in front of people, which is weird for somebody who's such a showman like he is. But as far as the studio is concerned, he just really, kept it on the down low for sure. It's Prince on everything here, all vocals and instruments. First time played was March 21st, 1987 at First Avenue. And the last time was March 22nd, 2016, which is the Prince Piano and a Microphone tour in Canada, in Montreal. And then it goes from Forever in My Life over to Sign of the Times. Interesting enough, this was the opening track for Sign of the Times, a stripped down song, mostly played on synthesizer and with some backing vocals, but it's pretty depressing song, obviously, about AIDS, the space shuttle disaster, drug abuse, gang violence, which was really weird that it was that dark, and it actually made it all the way to position 3. First single off of the album that actually preceded the album. So he actually released this song before the album came out. And the single had La 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 He 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 on the B-side. And for those who don't know, La 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 He 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 was a song that was written by Prince and Sheena Easton. And Sheena Easton it was actually a little bit of a sparring war, more or less, and Sheena Easton and Prince wrote that song together. But on the cover of this one, you might remember that it features Cat Glover on the cover holding up a heart over her face, and insiders had started that rumor that was Prince that was holding up the heart, and it wasn't Cat Glover. And apparently there's a story that Prince's dad called Cat Glover and said, is that you on the cover holding up the heart in front of your face? And she goes, yes, sir. And he goes, okay, good. I just wanted to make sure my son wasn't crazy. So there's that story. This was released as a single in February of 1987. And it's the opening track of both the album and also the live concert movie. And it also refers to, reefer being slang for marijuana. My cousin tried reefer for the very first time. Now he's doing horse, and horse is a slang for heroin. And again, this is a song that was supposed to be Dream Factory, and then it was moved to Crystal Ball, and eventually settled here as the title track for Sign of the Times, which is actually a title that he used because it's the title of a magazine for the Seventh-day Adventist called Signs of the Times. And it basically encourages readers to lead joyful Christian lives as they await the soon return of Jesus. And Prince's parents belonged to the Seventh-day Adventist, so he was kind of pretty hardcore immersed in it when he was growing up. And he uses that Starlight CMI digital sampler really heavy on this album, and especially here on this title track. Every single bit of the sounds that you're hearing in this song, all the drums, all this stuff is actually in that digital sampler, and it's actually stock sounds or nothing that he's messed with. If you got a Starlight CMI digital sampler, you could recreate this song from scratch, because all the sounds that are on in that synthesizer are directly from stock sounds in this unit. And of course, the song has been covered by a lot of different people, like Muse, which is a really cool rocked up version of that. Shaka Khan, and of course, Nina Simone also recorded a version of Sign of the Times. Cool. Have you ever heard that Nina Simone version of this song?
I have not.
It's very
That's
cool. It is. It's very, very cool.
Although, honestly, it's kind of hard for me to hear anybody cover any of Prince's songs because,
well, Nina Simone,
unless they really kick ass at it, it's
Well, Nina Simone did a phenomenal job.
All right.
Hold on a second. Let me see. I know we're kind of in a little bit of a. Hold on a second. Let me pull this up. I don't think we're going to get kicked off for this one, can we? Can't get kicked off for this one, can we?
I don't know.
Nina Simone doing Sign of the Times
for anything.
I don't see how it would be possible that we get. Hold on a second. I don't know if it would kick us up. It probably will if I don't do this quick. If I don't turn this down.
Skinny man died of a big disease with a little name. By chance, his girlfriend came across a needle, and soon she did the same. At home, there are 17-year-old boys, and their idea of fun is being in a game called the Disciples Eye on Crack, toting a machine gun.
So yeah, it's a little bit different of definitely different of a version.
Awesome.
Yeah, if we didn't get kicked off on Facebook, then that's probably I don't know if that's on an album of hers or not. I don't remember if it's on an album or not. So now we are on the last side of this album. Finally, we're on this last side of this, and it is side 6 of a 3 CD or not 3 CD, 3 album vinyl. So we've now flipped it over to the final time. This is the final time we'll be walking over to the record player, and it is The Cross is what is on right now. Yes, The Cross is friggin' amazing. Psychedelic meditation on the Christian symbol and the second coming of Jesus, with layered guitars and sitars, and it's just one of those. It was recorded entirely solo on a Sunday at Sunset Sound in Los Angeles, and it was another example of Prince finding inspiration in imperfection. According to Susan Rogers, she said the drumming speeds up because he wasn't using a metronome. I thought he was actually going to scrap it, but he was happy with it. And then, of course, it ended up being the 5th track on the 2nd disc of Sign of the Times. And of course, it's the 3rd song from the end on this particular version here. And it also did, for whatever reason, this song was also on the Girl 6 soundtrack, since we're talking about shitty movies. It was on the Girl 6 soundtrack as well. Oh, I forgot to well, you still got the Sign of the Times or whatever here. It's okay. So this is Oh, we're back to that. All right, I'll just wait until you get your shit
Yeah,
together.
just wait till I get my shit together.
As Prince became a Jehovah's Witness, he began to change the lyrics when performing this song live, reflecting his newer beliefs that Jesus died on Staros, which is a single stake rather than a two-beamed cross. And then the song became known as the Christ instead of the cross, which caused a bunch of controversy among Prince's online fan base. And he performed this song this way with contributions for Larry Graham and Shaka Khan on the 11th Annual Essence Awards in 1998. And I guess the whole Staros thing was actually an insinuation that people are lying about the way that Prince died. I'm sorry, the way that Jesus died. Sorry. Let's not get crazy here.
This is like the Staros report or something that you're talking about?
No, this is what Prince was insinuating, was that
okay.
that Christ died on a Staros instead of a cross.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not enough of a theologian to understand the significance of that statement. I guess showing that the Bible is full of imperfections or incorrections. Incorrections is a word. I don't know. It is a word, but not as a plural. I don't know.
Corrections.
Multiple incorrections. Take Viagra. You got too many incorrections.
If your incorrection lasts for more than 4 hours.
Anyways, I don't know what the purpose of all that was, other than be controversial, I guess. I guess again, I just don't know enough about all that to know what the significance of that is. On March 31st, 1995, there was an after show in Dublin, and Bono and The Edge from U2 came up and actually joined Prince on stage to sing The Cross. And that was actually Bono's song suggestion, actually. Because many don't know this, but U2 began as a very stark Christian band. Many people were not aware of that, but U2 was a very, very much a Christian band. That, of course, they started kind of, they still
maintain one non-believer in there.
Yeah, they still maintain their beliefs. But they obviously became part of the world and dropped F-bombs on award shows and stuff, and slowly kind of moved away from that. Anyways, all that being said, The Cross was played for the first time May 8th, 1987 in Stockholm, Sweden, and the last time was July 7th, 2007 at the Target Center in Minneapolis. And of course, when he did then, it was known as The Christ. April says it's a result of Larry Graham teachings, and Ladelma also said it was just biblical language translation issue. All right. I mean, it's just so many interpretations, and it doesn't, as long as he still died for our sins, I'm not really going to get caught up in the process.
Yeah, that's kind of the important part of the whole story.
Right. The important part of the story is that he died for our sins.
Yes.
That's it. That's the important part of the story.
Yes.
All right. So that brings us to what you're hearing in the background. It's going to be a beautiful night. The live audience on It's Going to Be a Beautiful Night is credited for backing vocals under the name of 6,000 Wonderful Parisians. So obviously the song was recorded in Paris. And also the last song with credits given to other writers, which are Dr. Fink and Eric Leeds. Everybody also loves that Sheila E's rap here happens during the song. It's called the Trans-Mississippi Rap. Some don't know this, but it was actually recorded over the phone and added later. It wasn't done on site, obviously, which is why it sounds like it does. The overdubs are what are interesting about this. The first is what I had mentioned with Sheila E. is that Sheila E. and Prince were talking on the phone one night, and she did what's now referred to as the Trans-Mississippi Rap, where she's It's a poem by Edward Lear called "The Table and the Chair." And if you look up the lyrics if you look up the poem by Edward Lear called "The Table and the Chair," that's what she's doing. She's rapping this poem by Edward Lear. And because of the fact that they were on opposite sides of the Mississippi and she's rapping over the phone and he recorded it, it's layered over the song later, and that's why it's called the Trans-Mississippi Rap. So there it is. No reference to Edward Lear or the Table and the Chair, but that's basically what she's rapping. This is not an original verse from her. She's like, oh man, she's got skills. No, Edward Lear has skills. She just kind of wrapped it out. The other thing is an overdub thing is that he added horns over it, but then he also sampled, and many people don't know this, but he sampled The Wizard of Oz. There is a song on The Wizard of Oz called The March of the Winkies. And he took pieces of The March of the Winkies and he put it all throughout the song. So I've never heard March of the Winkies, but if you listen to March of the Winkies from Wizard of Oz, oh shit, why not? Let's look it up. What else do we have to do here? But look up random shit like this. Hold on a second. And I'm sure that once we heard it, we'd go, oh my God, Wizard of Oz, March of the Winkies. All right. All right. So here is March of the Winkies. Let me see if. Can you actually hear that?
No.
Go on. Hold on a second.
It's the castle of the Wicked Witch. Dorothy, I've got a plan how to get in there.
I'll go in there for
Oh, wait.
no Wicked Witch. Gods and no gods. Wait a minute.
I guess that music in the background is the March of the Winkies.
Okay, you got it. Okay.
Yeah. And so anyways, apparently there's a bunch of bits and pieces of that that are all throughout It's Gonna Be a Beautiful Night that he's taken from March of the Winkies and he's sprinkled all over this song, which I had no idea. And now, I don't know.
I'm gonna have nightmares now.
I can't remember the last time I watched Wizard of Oz. I don't, it's just, it's one of those songs. Anyways, first time this song was played was August 25th, 1986 in Paris, France at Le Zenith, which is the instrumentation and the chants that you're hearing is actually what you're hearing on this album. The first full performance actually was in Stockholm, Sweden from May 8th, 1987. And the last time he would play it was June 13th, 2000 at the Northrop Auditorium. Here is the Trans-Mississippi Rap that you're hearing. That's the part that she was doing over the phone that he recorded. Obviously, we all know that part. But anyways, it is, there you go. It's a poem, The Table and the Chair. Who is playing on this song? It's Prince on all vocals and instruments, Bobby Z on drums, Brown Mark on bass guitar, Mika Weaver on guitar, Wendy Melvoin on guitar and backing vocals, Lisa Coleman on keyboards and backing vocals, Dr. Fink on keyboards, Eric Leeds on sax, Atlanta Bliss on trumpet, Sheila E. on the Trans-Mississippi Rap, Susanna Melvoin on background vocals, Jill Jones on vocals, Greg Brooks, Wally Safford, and Jerome Benton on background vocals. So a lot of activity here. It's craziness. There you go. Like that. Anyway, I like that song.
It's Gonna Be a Beautiful Night. I know you love that song. You used to play it all the freaking time.
Well, because it's a great song to lip sync to. You know how many times I danced in my living room?
Yes,
this freaking song.
Actually. I think you were living with me at the time.
Oh, yeah. You know what other? You know what other album I used to love? I used to listen to all the time. Remember Robbie Neville?
Yes.
That whole album by Robbie Neville. Of course, the only song of that one was "C'est La Vie." Was the only song was a hit off of that. But that whole album was really freaking good. I remember liking that entire album.
I remember you.
I remember listening to that album in that construction area across from where I used to live. You and I used to walk around that construction area and listen to that friggin' album. Ah, man, going back in the days now. And of course, we only got 1 minute left in this song, and then we close the album. Finally, it is the end of the album. We're going to close with "Adore," which was called "Adore Until the End of Time." Obviously, that's the first lyric of the song. Until the end of time. So they're going to be. I think that was. I don't know why it changed. I think I like the "Until the End of Time." You would immediately be able to kind of. I think because of the fact that he didn't say "adore" enough, or that it wasn't out there enough. It's not like a Led Zeppelin song where they never say the title. It's with the exception of "Stairway to Heaven." It's like he says "adore" enough, but "Until the End of Time" is pretty. It's right there. It's the first thing he says in the song. So, anyways, good fusion. And of course, it goes into "Adore," which is exactly how "A Sign of the Times" plays out, which we will obviously. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So this is "Adore Until the End of Time." It is the final track on the Crystal Ball 1986 configuration. So if you guys have been listening, I'm really interested to hear what you think about this configuration. Hearing this album in this way, I know that. If you were listening to the album chat version of this, it's kind of maybe too much. I don't know. But for those who actually listened to the album in its entirety, how did you feel that it flowed? I would think as I was saying with Dream Factory, I didn't realize how amazing the Dream Factory configuration was. I actually put all the songs in that order, and even found the different pieces, the different tracks that were there, and made a pretty close representation of what that album would have been. And it was incredible. It sounded so friggin' good. Just the way that everything was broken up was just really, really well done. As far as "Adore" is concerned, it's the final song on Crystal Ball. It's also the final song on Sign of the Times. A lot of falsetto and horn arrangements, and a lot of people think that it was geared towards Black radio and R&B fans, and man, it worked. I mean, a lot of people think that this is probably one of the best slow songs that he's ever written. If you ask people to name, the top slow song, it's going to be in the top 5. Right out of the gate, it's going to be in the top 5. He has some amazing slow songs, but it's like this is like legendary. This is like a legendary slow song from Prince for sure. It's got. I mean, the only other one I can think that would possibly beat it out in a competition would be maybe "Do Me Baby." I think maybe, but it's just got to be. It's a huge smash on Black radio, who not only embraced it but gave it more airplay than all 4 of the released singles for this album together. For Sign of the Times. This is yet another song that was written for Susanna. Man, she was really a big muse for him. Absolutely. And here is another lyric that I didn't know that he was saying. I ain't effing for kicks. I ain't effing just for kicks. I don't know what I thought he was saying. I don't know what I thought he was saying. But he's saying, I ain't fucking just for kicks. Well, maybe. And then of course, you got the line, and maybe not the ride, but I don't know what I thought he was saying, but I ain't effing just for kicks. I did not know that he was saying that.
I don't know
Anyways,
if I remember that either.
I don't know that I remember. I didn't know that that's what he said, but apparently that's what he says. Let's see what else we got here. It's more information, and of course, it's on that Girl 6 compilation soundtrack. Basic tracking took place November 19th, the day after my birthday, 1986. Wrong year though. Sunset Sound in Hollywood, California, and in 2000, in the year 2000, they were going to make an album called "When Two Are in Love: The Ballads of Prince." And at the Celebration 2000, they took a vote, and people were like, yeah, the ballads are great, but I don't think we want a whole collection of the ballads of Prince. And they basically voted it down. So I was actually surprising too, because everybody loves the Celebration. Everybody loves the ballads of Prince. I mean, that's one of the most amazing things that he has. But people were like, yeah, we love when he does these ballads, but I don't want a whole album of it. It's like, you got to put that funky stuff in there. It's got to be there. But it's just Prince on all vocals and instruments. Eric leads on sax and Atlanta Bliss on trumpet. And of course, the first time it was played was in Vienna, Austria on May 29th, 1987. And the last time it was played was at the Fox Theater in Atlanta, Georgia on that final night, April 14th, 2016. But the first show, not the second one. And I'm really curious what everybody, yeah, Brandon says, I'm looking just for kicks as clear as day. Yeah, it is. I don't know. I don't know why I never really, I don't know how I missed the lyric, Brandon. I don't know.
I missed that too. I don't think I ever paid attention to that. I gotta admit, Adore is one of those that I probably didn't pay as much attention to the lyrics of.
Yeah, it's a great song, but
it is.
Anyway, got to vote for Robbie Neville. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to hear how people perceive this song and but more so, I'm interested in what you guys feel about this configuration of this album. I mean, what did you warning, I'm big Prince fan and proud of it. Oh, you know what I ordered?
Probably gonna get in trouble because I found that on Pinterest. But
we got 53 seconds here, and this is going to be the end. And I've got to come back on the radio station here in 45 seconds. But I got two things that I'm hoping to showcase next Tuesday, where we will be talking about Paisley Park, what they can stop doing, what they can start doing. We'll start talking about some ideas, and hopefully I know Paisley Park does tune in, so hopefully we'll be able to share some ideas for them and actually get them on board and maybe get some people in the mix that will be willing to listen and hopefully enjoy some of our ideas. But I've got two things coming that one is this really cool tin from Third Eye Girl that's coming in the mail. I'm looking forward to it. Also got the a jacket, a Prince jacket from the actual estate store. So it's gonna be really interesting. Wait one second. And there you have it. That was the complete configuration from 1986. The configuration, Rob's dog is going crazy in the background. The 1986 configuration of Crystal. Was that what we did listen to? Yeah, Crystal Ball. It's just so weird because when you listen to the 1998 version of Crystal Ball, which just seems like a culmination of a bunch of songs that we had never heard before that just got pulled out from the vault. This particular configuration was originally going to be Camille, then it was going to be Sign of the Times. It wasn't going to be Sign of the Times. This was going to be a 3-album release, and he gave this all to Warner Brothers, and they rejected it and told him he had to shave some songs off of it. It ended up killing 7 songs, coming down to a double album, and it became Sign of the Times. But as you can tell, that configuration is very different. There's a little bit of songs that are on there that are kind of grouped together that are on normal Sign of the Times, but it's still very, very cool. And it's always cool to hear these configurations. And I hope that you joined us either on the video version where we were talking a little bit about the history of the songs and also just kind of chatting along with this album. And of course, if you listen here, I hope that you enjoyed this configuration as well. That is going to do it for Funkatopia Live for tonight. Anyways, we are going to be having quite a bit of an undertaking. I started a little bit of kicking an ant's nest, more or less, asking the question on Facebook: what can Paisley Park start doing, or stop doing in order to make sure that we can maintain Prince's legacy moving forward into the future, into new generations, to make sure that after we are gone, that Prince's legacy is going to continue, that Paisley Park is going to continue and be able to continue moving forward and stay open for decades and generations to come. How exactly are we going to accomplish that? And we're going to have that conversation next Tuesday on Funkatopia Live. And I'm going to do my absolute best to try to actually get some people from Paisley Park on the line with us, or on the show with us, to kind of, share some ideas, share some things that they're going through, some of the challenges that they have that we may not even be aware of, and some of the things that are going on. And it's going to be quite a show. And even if we can't make that happen, we're still going to share a lot of ideas. And we know that a lot of people from Paisley Park actually listen to this show. So hopefully they'll be able to get some really good information out of it. That's going to be next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And for this particular episode, I hope that you guys had a really, really good time. And it will be available on Patreon, patreon.com/Funkatopia. If you want to support us, you can actually do it there, and we'll make this broadcast available there. We were already kicked off of Facebook earlier in the night for mentioning this amazing funk band from Japan called Endreshi. Or Endresheri, I'm sorry. So you absolutely got to check them out if you got an opportunity. ENDRECHERI. They're fantastic. And we're also working out trying to get an interview with them, and that should be pretty amazing. So I hope that you will actually tune in for that as well. Once we get the interview situated, we just got to kind of deal with a language barrier. That's what we're dealing with right now, but we want to get them on the show. We played a little clip, and then Facebook killed us and took us off the line. So that's all fun and dandy and normal. That's 2 weeks in a row, Rob, that we've been kicked off by Facebook.
Dude, we are killing it.
Last week we were kicked off because we played a little small clip of Hiatus Coyotes Breathing Underwater, which is an amazing song that Rob had never heard. And I said, "Oh my God, these guys are fantastic." And we
were enjoying it so much that they kicked us off.
So we enjoyed it for a little too long. They were like, "Wait, that's 15 seconds. That's too much. You're gone." And they kicked everybody off of the broadcast, and we just kind of continued on. So they did it again tonight because of Endresheri. I don't know how they pronounce their name, but they're a fantastic funk band from Japan. And definitely go to YouTube and check them out. And they're pretty friggin' amazing. Anyways, we will see you guys next week. And if you have any suggestions or things that you want to do, or if you want to contribute to that conversation that we're going to have next Tuesday, please make sure you go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/Funkatopia, and put in your comments. There's been a lot of people already commenting. Don't fight, just keep it civil. We don't know a lot of the things that are going on. So some decisions are good, some decisions are bad, but we'll talk about all those things. Right now, good night, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Here's a little bit of thunder right here on the Funkatopia Radio Show and Funked Up. Good night, everyone. We'll see you at some point, I'm sure. Love you. Bye. All right. So, was that their, what was that? Was that your
I have no idea.
chair?
It just looked like a cool graphic.
No, I'm talking about it sounded like a dog was kicked or something.
I hope so. No, that's not what it makes.
Look at that. That's awesome. That's fantastic. Very, very cool. Yeah,
Right?
I'm
They got all
gonna
kinds of cool graphics, actually.
I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna try to go on Amazon or something and just download something, because obviously they have recordings that are honored by Grace Note and Facebook.
Right?
So I've got to make sure that I get whatever I got to get. I'll make sure that I take care of it. Get on Amazon. Rob, thank you for joining us, man. Absolutely. I know that the schedule is a little bit tighter now, and bizarre.
Yeah, that's that whole linear time thing. Fucks with you.
Yeah, man. We're the only ones that move. It's funny. Your time doesn't move in Arizona. They don't. For those that don't know, in Arizona they don't do the time change. Here in Atlanta, we do the time changes. But what's funny is that even though you guys don't do the time change, you still have to honor the time change
for everybody else,
because if everybody else is moving, and you've got to be like, "Oh, that's right, your time changed. Our time didn't change, but your time changed."
Yeah.
So you still gotta be able to do all the mathematics and stuff. It's kind of silly. Does California's time move?
Yeah, it does actually, because our place I work, the home office is in California, so half the year they're not on the same time as us, and now we're on the same time. So it gets
I guess
messed up.
that's pretty good.
They start
Yeah.
messing with all of our meetings and stuff, and I'm just like, all of a sudden now the meeting I had at 8 is at 7 or some kind of crap. I'm like, that's not fair.
Well, it's been fun. It's been a pretty good night, and I hope everybody had a good time. If anybody got an opportunity to see Dr. Funkenberry's show, I'll have to watch that. I'll watch it tomorrow. If I didn't have my own show to do, I'd have been there.
Who was on there?
He actually had to temporarily move his show to tonight because he had Stephen Grant Hill, who was he was the president of programming at BET for almost 2 decades, and he did a lot of the Prince tributes for the BET Awards. But he had a lot of stories about Prince house parties and Prince stories and stuff,
cool.
and so there's a lot of cool stuff going on. But his show is not moving to Tuesday nights, so that's he made sure. He made sure to email me. He was like, just so you know, I have to do a show on Tuesday night. I'm not, this is the only night that he was available. I'm sorry. I was like, it's cool. It's all good. Cammy says, did anyone guess what changed in the room? It should be really, really friggin' obvious what changed in the room. Not in your room, Rob. In my room.
Yeah.
The trick is that I'm gonna make the mic screen big here for a second. Is that the first person to tell me, one of the things that's changed in this room?
I know what it is.
It's pretty friggin' obvious. It's like it's really friggin' obvious. It's not the dance ball. It's not that. But it's pretty, Cammy. I know Cammy. I'm just gonna be sending Cammy all this free stuff.
Just send Cammy everything.
I will just. I'm gonna save it up for. Oh, I wanted to show you guys something too. I actually hold on a second. Let me see if I can pull this up. I'm ordering some more T-shirts that are. There is a printing company here in Atlanta called Mind's Eye, Mindzai, and they actually have this really cool offer that you can get where they'll actually I don't know if I can share this or not. I might be able to where they actually, let me see if I can share this screen. And it's going to have a big Funkatopia logo on the front, but on the back collar, it actually has the Mind's Eye logo. And so they gave me a really good deal on the shirts.
Oh, cool.
And so I'll be able to get T-shirts for like, I'll be able to have T-shirts that people can buy for like $12, including shipping, which is, and let me pull this up. I will show, hold on a second. Let me see if I can pull this one up. Yeah, what the heck? I'll just switch over. Which is this shirt right here.
Oh, hey.
So it's got the it's like a purple shirt, obviously a lighter purple shirt, but it's got the big Funkatopia logo on the front, and it's got the Mind's Eye logo on the back, really small. So
that's great.
It's gonna be really, really cool. Don't really have a whole bunch of them. There's, as you can see, I've got the sizes that I'll have. I'll have small. I have like a handful of small, so I don't really have like tons of them. But I wanted to see if it would do this really weird thing if I put it on here. Anyways, so it's gonna be cool. Those shirts are gonna be on the way. I was going to tell you the things that I had purchased for stuff. I've got this aluminum tin that is from Third Eye Girl. It's that psychedelic 70s Third Eye Girl graphic that is really, really awesome that I am looking forward to getting. I will showcase it next week. And also the Prince jacket that's got the Prince. It's a black Prince jacket. It's got a Prince logo on the back. It's got the zipper pull is actually a print, a metal Prince thing. The inner it's a dark purple inner hood thing. Starting to get into spring and summer, and not going to need that jacket, but
Just in time for the summer.
yeah, I got a really good deal on it, and actually the spring is actually a good time for that because it's that really stupid time of the year in Atlanta where it's like hot during the day, and then at night it's like cold as shit. It's like just ridiculous. But anyway, all right. Good night, everyone. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm post this on Patreon, the entire video, but again, we're going to be going through the process of breaking up YouTube videos into little pieces. It takes a little bit of time because there's still, even I can break it up fast, but to make it and then process it into a new video, it takes like 15 minutes to reprocess a video into a new smaller piece. But if they're small 5-minute ones, it might not take it long. I don't know. We're so much work, man. So much freaking work. Unreal. Good night, Rob. Thanks, man, for hanging out.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to see. Yes. Brandon says, tell people to drop the stimulus checks on that t-shirt. Yeah, absolutely. Cammy, you know what it is. I will tell you guys what it is. If you guys, I don't know how you guys do not freaking see what it is. It's freaking crazy. It's this constellation light that's actually it's purple clouds up on the ceiling, and it's also got stars. It's actually constellations in green laser, and it's all over the friggin' walls. It's all over, and I don't know how. If you didn't see it, Cammy saw it. I don't know. So I will switch something else out, and when somebody calls it to my attention next week, it won't be that. I will switch something else out, and if you tell me what it is,
just put it back up and see.
No, because I've already announced it now, so it's too late. It's too late.
But it won't be something that changed.
True, I could put it up again, and then it would be something that's changed. But this is Jaden's. I got to give it back to her now.
All right.
So who knows? There may be some things that may switch out. This book always changes. This book changes every week. But like, I don't know. It might be not be something as obvious. Maybe I might turn that C around and make it backwards, or I don't know. I'll do something. And if you point it out to me and you let me know what it is that you saw, I'll send you something. Might just be a Funkatopia sticker, it might be a hat, but whatever it is, you ain't paying for it. I'll send it to you for free. So, anyways, Brandon says your ceiling is fire, yo. It is. Thank you.
It is.
This is pretty awesome. Did you get the stimulus check? Did you already get it?
Nah.
No, the lamp didn't move. The lamp stayed in the same place again. You didn't get stimulus check yet? Stimulus check? I actually logged in on.
Worry about that, huh? What?
I logged in on Friday night and it was sitting there. And of course, they put it in Friday night, so my bank doesn't process anything until it's gone through the day. So it was sitting there. I'm like sitting there looking at it, and it's like sitting in there pending on Friday, pending on Saturday, pending on Sunday, pending on Monday, and then didn't clear until Tuesday morning. I'm like, it's okay though. I didn't earn it.
Check tease.
Yeah, it's gonna be good though, man. When you get it, you're gonna love it. It's gonna be amazing.
Yes.
You got
They're running around the country talking about how great it is. So yeah,
it is great. It is great. Anyways, all right. Good night, everyone. I said good night before. This is like our phone conversations, man.
No, you say goodbye. No, you say
you say goodbye. No, you say goodbye. You say goodbye.
goodbye.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week, and have fun. And to all you peace and be wild Prince folks out there, peace and be wild. Good night, everyone. See you soon at some point.